Hello, hello, my damn scrumptious ravens. Welcome to Ravens Real Talk. Hello, hello. If this is your first time here, welcome. For everyone in chat, welcome. Bullet Operator, Chris Green, Jeremy, Photon, Geek Gaming Vic. I see you all. Hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making me part of your day. I appreciate it. So for those of you who are new here, this is Ravens Real Talk. Ravens Real Talk is a show I basically created on this channel so that I could...
damn scrumptious.
Thank you. So that I could create a space where we bring issues that are important to me and topics and situations, issues that we'll either all face at some point in our lives, or most of us will, or some of us have already faced in our lives, and things that are just generally good to know. And the purpose is always to use this discussion to create awareness, create a discussion, share our experiences, and ultimately take the information that we receive from these discussions and use them to implement into our lives, reflect on our lives, and hopefully grow into better people, better our lives through self-reflection and introspection. So thank you for being here. And as you can tell, the topic for today... Oh shit! Thank you for the host, baby. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the host, Skeletons. Thank you for the host. Thank you, Skeleton, for that host. I can't not dance when I hear that track, so thank you for that. I was saying something and I forgot. Oh, yes. For those of you who noticed, today's talk is about intimacy. So we have a really juicy agenda for today. We will be talking about the different types of intimacy, our experiences with intimacy, how you can create and better intimacy in your relationships. And the cool thing about intimacy is that it does not only apply to romantic relationships. So for those of us who are not in relationships, you can also apply it to your relationships with siblings, your parents, with coworkers that you're super close with friends. It really is applicable to any aspect of your life that you would like it applied to. So it's definitely applicable to anybody on a wider scale than intimacy is generally thought to be. And we will also be talking about the things that we've learned about intimacy throughout our experiences. And you know what? There might be other subtopics that come up from the conversation. And I would like you all to know that sometimes organically subtopics come up, and that's okay as well. Oh shit! Thank you for the host, Brandon. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the host, Scrumptious. Thank you for the host. Hey. I can't. It just makes me smile. I have to do it. So oh my lord. Oh shit! Thank you for the host, Slade. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the host, Slade. Thank you for the host. Thank you very much for that host, Slade. So what I was saying is that before I start any real talk, I always start with a mini disclaimer. So the disclaimer is that we recognize that, some of the things that we might discuss in this talk might not be in line with the experiences that people had in their lives, and some of the things that people have experienced might be extremely different from what we've experienced, or their thoughts might be extremely different, and that's okay. That is totally okay. We are not experts. We are not saying that our way is the right way. We're just saying what we've learned, what our experiences are, and we're not pushing our views or our opinions on anybody. And for the purposes of this talk, we will be sticking with 5 to 6 forms of intimacy. But through my research, I did realize that there are up to 12 forms of intimacy. So just to keep it simple, we're sticking with the 5 to 6 mark. And I encourage and I request that everyone is respectful in chat and mature in chat. We will be getting into some discussions about physical intimacy and sexual intimacy, and I would like this to be a very educational and mature space, and I would like us all to treat each other with respect and with kindness. So before I move on, I would like to remind everybody about the rules. Thank you, Slay. Be kind and respectful. This is a safe and positive space. The following will not be tolerated: hurtful name calling, offensive insults, offensive word usage, like you are so stupid, you are such an idiot, all sexist slurs, vulgar, offensive, or disrespectful comments, jokes about sexual assault. Like, oh my God, I got raped in that game. I don't like it. Don't use that here, please. Race, religion, sexual orientation, any kind of bullying or harassment, no politics unless it's being discussed, which it is not. And any violation could result in a timeout or a ban. And the code for this specific talk is, in addition to the channel rules, please ensure you are following these specific rules for this real talk. You are encouraged to participate in this discussion as long as your comments are not disrespectful. If you choose to participate in the discussion without having an open mind and only with the intent of trying to attack and aggressively force your beliefs onto others, please refrain from participating because you will be timed out. I do not have time for that here, and I just do not have the energy for negativity. Life is already so stressful, and I can't deal. So, Habibi, I saw your comment about the song, and I do not want my guests to faint from the cringiness that they will experience when I do the song. So I will spare them. And if they would like to stick around after the real talk, I might do the song then. And they can be accountable for their own demise if it comes out from the song. So, yes, stay tuned for the song if you guys are interested. All right. Without further ado, okay, without further ado, I would like to invite my first guest, who I've had the pleasure of meeting through Twitch Things, by the way. I'm going to really miss Twitch Things because it let me meet so many amazing people. Both of these guests, actually, I've met through Twitch Things. And he's got a very smooth, soulful voice. If you haven't checked him out already, check out my friend Muffin Show. And please help me welcome Muffin.
Hi everyone. Hi Raven.
Hi.
It's wonderful to be invited here. I've always wanted to be on your show.
I'm
always.
so excited. Oh my God, that's such an honor.
I'm a huge lurker actually.
Thank you. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, like our duets were always awesome, and I hope we'll have time to do some more before Twitchings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know you do Twitch things. What else do you do on your channel?
Like, I used to play a bunch of different games, and then I fell in love with Twitchings. Once it closes, I'll probably do music in general, like play some guitar, some piano, and sing along. So
nice.
Yeah. And play games. It's time to go back.
Do you have a particular genre of games that you're most interested in, or you like anything?
I play a bunch of different things. I like hard games in general, so like
Dark Souls or something?
Yeah, for example.
It's so hard.
It is. But I played a game called Hollow Knight with a special challenge. For every death, I do 15 squats. This was hard. And I ended up doing 1,600 squats. Not in one stream. Don't worry. And it was awesome.
And why did you torture yourself like that? Did you not think you were going to die a lot?
We were in lockdown. I had to work out in some way. It was fun.
I appreciate that. I do that sometimes. I used to do that for every death, but then I just started dying way too much. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But in the end, I ended up doing it even after the challenge was over. Every day I was working out, even though I wasn't before. So
I love that. That's awesome. Well, kudos to you. That's amazing, Muffin. And I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you for taking time
pleasure.
Out of your busy life to be here. Thank you very much. Yes! 1,600. No, I think he said 1,600. Yeah, so 1,600.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. Oh my God. And second and last but not least, this next guest blew me away with his. Yo, I won't lie, guys. He doesn't even know this. When I first heard him sing, so what I usually do is if I have any spare time, I'll go through the duets that people have done with me if I have time. And when I saw him, I was just like, oh, he looking scrumptious. Like, let me check on him. So I clicked on him, and then when he started singing, I was like, oh my Lord, have mercy. He has such a very R&B swag voice. Like, if you guys sing with him, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that's the interesting thing. Muffin has this very soulful, like, warm voice. And then Skeleton has, like, the opposite, where it's, like, this raw R&B, smooth, but, like, nasty voice. It's good. You guys just have to check it out by yourself. I had the
You do.
pleasure of meeting him through Twitch Sings, and we've done many duets since. He's done a lot of my open mics, and I really appreciate him. Please help me welcome the scrumptious skeleton.
Hi everyone. Hello. How you doing? And welcome everyone. And thank you for the invite, of course.
You're
I'm
so welcome.
more than honored to be here and meet you, both of you, and also Brandon, of course. Um, my name is Nelson. I'm mostly known as Skeleton. Previously, I played competitive games like many years ago, and then I stick with gaming. So in my channel, I stream a lot of Twitch things and a lot of gameplay regarding FPS. Okay, I know sometimes it's boring, but it's the thing I do, and I love playing. So, and that's most of the things I do right now. Yeah.
All right, and you are all over the place as well, or do you just focus on one kind of game? Or
Right now, I'm focused more on FPS Valorant because
yeah, baby.
it's the mostly competitive now. I can flex a little bit. I arrived at more Immortal 1 last week. So the struggle begins now, okay? I can say that. But yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. But I'm not that good, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Mhm.
I'm not that good. I'm being honest, yeah.
I'm stuck in Iron 3, so I can't even fathom being an immortal. Like, that's insane. I'm so proud of you. And
Yeah,
how
thank you.
long did you need
Appreciate it.
to like train and stuff and for that? Like, what's up?
Well, I work. I have my 8 hours of work every single day.
Oh my god.
Sometimes I play. Sometimes I play, and sometimes I do Twitch things. So whenever I'm not doing Twitch things, I'm either playing or Warzone or Valorant. Well, those are the both ones.
Shocked.
Yeah,
Amazing.
to be honest, the competitive game I played. I don't know if you guys know it, but it was on the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one, not this one right now. The first
Mm,
one. Yeah, those were
interesting.
the best one, to be honest.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule as well to be here,
No, of
Skeleton. I
course.
really appreciate it. Thank you. And let me
I
tell you
wish.
guys, both of these guests, I've had a lot of guests, and yes, and I always, the ones that are excited to be on the show and like excited to discuss the topic, those are the ones that kind of stick out to me the most. And I do have to say that you both were so excited, and it just made me feel so good about myself because there was a lot of stuff that I had to deal with for this show. And, like, as someone mentioned, we had a guest not able to follow through with being part of the show. She had some issues that came up last minute, just a couple of hours ago. So I was super nervous and, like, really sad about that. But the fact that the guests that were able to make this show, Muffin and Skeleton, them being excited about the show and being like, I'm on it, like, just let me know where you want
Yeah.
me and I'll be there. It just made everything worth it. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
The
Really.
show
It's a
must go
pleasure.
on all the time. All the time.
Absolutely. So, as we're talking about intimacy, I want to start off with something very general. What does intimacy mean to both of you? So, when you think intimacy, what comes to your mind? So, Skeleton, do you want to start us off?
Well, I can say that to me, intimate. It's about everything regarding a relation, not only relationship through boyfriend and girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever what is, but it's regarding the relation that you have with that person. So, and also confidence can be included in intimacy. So, like, there are two words in here which can be mixed up, because if you have confidence in one person, you will have intimacy. But if you don't have confidence in that person, the intimacy will be, I don't
Mm.
know, you will ask twice if you're going to trust that person because of the intimacy you don't have and the confidence that you have as well. So, like, to me, I have this definition of intimacy being like, I don't know, confidence, along with confidence,
And can you
mostly.
elaborate on your definition or your understanding of confidence in that context?
Well, to be honest, even in these days, it's a little hard to give a definition to that, because even now I'm almost at my 30, but I can trust someone that it's gonna disappoint me a lot.
Oh,
And like,
yeah.
so the confidence is, it's more like a risk, to be honest.
So it's trust.
It can be put in that way, yeah.
It's trust. And is it also reliability? How reliable they are, maybe?
And most of the times with their attitudes, yeah, it can be
Okay.
with their actions.
I understand that. Yeah. So for you, confidence is kind of like multifaceted. It's a little bit of trust. It's also your ability to rely on that person, to trust
Yeah,
that person, to
yeah,
maybe fall back on them if you ever need to, have
yeah.
them kind of take control of situations when maybe you cannot.
That most of the times, that even just to make me relaxed about something, you know?
Yes.
So, like, if that person can do that, I'm having confidence and I can be intimate with that, of course.
I totally get that. Okay. What about you, Muffin?
Like intimacy for me would be being close to someone. Like in any way you can be close to someone. It can be physical, it can be through a conversation, it can be through your mindsets, like feeling like
On the
your
same
thoughts are being
page.
shared with the other person. Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, every single way you can be close to someone. For me, this is being intimate. Like having intimacy with someone, like yeah, not being intimate with someone.
Yeah, no, and that's good that you said that because there's a lot of people who, and at times I would confuse those as well. That
Yeah,
sometimes, like in the past, or even at times right now, I would think intimacy is being intimate with someone, meaning sexually. But I know at the core there are so many types of intimacy,
yeah,
and not just types. For you to feel intimate with someone, it's there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. It's the thing Skeleton was saying. It's the thing Muffin was saying. Like you can't. I feel like everyone can be sexual with anybody, right? But to truly have intimacy, that's that special sauce. That's
yeah,
that special ingredient that I think is what takes all types of connection to the next level, and that's why when I came across this topic, I was like, I have to talk about intimacy because I think it's so special to me. I notice in the relationships that I see around me that intimacy is lacking. And I just look around and I'm like, God, please do not let me get into a relationship forever that's lacking intimacy because I will not survive. My heart, my soul, my
no,
spirit, and my body will not survive. All of it will crumble and
yeah.
crash and burn. So,
Unfortunately, I think that most of the relationships nowadays are full of sex, but without
yes.
intimacy.
Yes.
So, and that's, it's getting bigger and bigger, the problem, to be honest. And we can see it. Everyone can see it, even
Absolutely.
online, even, I don't know, every platform most of the times nowadays is a dating website. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
even for the ones that are not centered around sex, like if
Sorry,
it's
say
due
that
to the
again.
pressure of sorry, even for the ones that are not centered around sex, like if you're only in a relationship because you're pressured to be in a relationship, then like you won't develop that degree of intimacy. You won't develop something special. You won't have that way. Like you'll be like, okay, I'm in a relationship. I'm good.
And yeah,
To be
Check.
it's like
honest,
a
I think,
checkbox.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that is a pressure regarding society
Yeah.
and parents as well, regarding the education they receive at home. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
so for the people, it is mandatory to have a relationship with someone and to marry. Okay, this I'm not generalizing, but it's most of the society
Yeah.
thinking.
That's true. It's
So
true.
you feel that pressure and you feel that you should be dating someone or should be with someone just because people are talking
Yeah.
bad about because they're not. But yeah.
Yeah, I tell my parents the same thing. I'm 31 now, and I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I don't plan to have any kids. I just want to find someone to share my life with and, have just a fun life with them where we take out part in like those workout competitions and we go and experience things in life together and grow as people. We volunteer at like homeless shelters and like we do things that are bigger than us and meaningful where I can be like, bro, that was a life well spent. Like I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
solid. You know what? Like I'm good. Like I lived life. Like I was good. So I told my parents that and I say that first of all, the things that I'm looking for in life, I think there's a lot of people that might not mesh well with that, and I totally understand that. But in addition to that, if you just want me to marry somebody, I can marry somebody. I can marry anybody, right? We can all grab someone off the street and like get to know them and be like, yeah, this is decent. It's bearable. It's good. We'll make it work. But we're talking partnership for life. I would like it for life. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. You can't just pick someone up off wherever and then turn that into something. There's compatibility. There's willingness to build intimacy. That's another thing. You can have attraction, but if you don't have that willingness to build a future and a home with this person, attraction's great, but it's only going to get you so
Yeah.
far.
The beginning
Definitely.
is that good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning we always show, like I'm talking for myself as well. We always show the good thing, okay? We're not gonna show the bad side in the first
Yeah.
meeting or in the second or in the third one. Even after 1 month or two, I keep getting my good thing shown. So whenever I'm mad, for example, something like that, I can't be around them, just to not show them. So that happens with most of the people as well. Um, and I think that's normal, to be honest, because in the beginning everything is good and you're meeting the person, getting that confidence as well, and then the intimacy comes later, to be honest. And
Interesting.
this is my opinion regarding it, that you don't trust the person right in the beginning. I don't know if I'm saying that you something that you don't agree, but to be honest, in the beginning I don't think you have that confidence and that trust to be able to have a relation right in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, I think. And like it's even more like it's not even that you don't show the bad sides. It's you have no reasons to show the bad sides. You like
That's
there's no conflict.
there we go.
There's no bad situation. If you don't
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
to see the person, you say, "Yeah, I'm busy these days." Nah, nah, nah. But you won't be trapped in a situation where you will feel bad. So that person will never see you in a bad light, and you will never see them in a bad light. But when you have intimacy, you know everything about that person, and there will be things that will create conflicts. That
yeah.
Yep.
intimacy, like of course, it's a brilliant thing, but before you get there, you have to know that person, and there will be some things that you will notice, some things that you will remark, and that can create
Every
conflict, or that can go
every
smoothly.
every relation has its issues, has its
Yeah,
conflict. Every
Yeah.
yeah,
every single one.
Yeah. I like
If
that you
one relation is
mentioned,
going good,
yeah,
something is bad. Something is wrong.
if it's always good. Yeah.
Yes, if there's no
Yes.
yeah,
fighting, there's no like for little things. I left the fork at the bathroom. Okay, I'm gonna have it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that don't happen most of the times, like it can be little things, but if that don't happen most of the time, something is wrong.
Yes.
That's
1000% agree.
that's my red flag in a relationship, to
Yes.
be honest.
Yeah. And I like what Mumford mentioned that sometimes it's not even that you're purposefully not showing your bad side. It's more like there's no reason to because if you're in a bad mood or you're pissed off at them, you don't have to go see them. You don't have to like text them. You don't have to whatever. But when you're living in the same space or there's much time that has gone by, then that becomes a little tougher, right? I know for me, like one of the promises that I've made to myself is that going forward in any relationship that I get, I'm going to make sure that if there's a situation where I'm tested or my like bad side wants to come out and like I'm going to show my true colors. I'm going to show it because I'd rather just get it out in the open in the beginning. If they can handle me at my worst, great, because I don't think my worst is that bad. So if you're just like, oh my god, I'm so scared, it's not going to work out, dude. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out.
Imagine,
Right?
imagine.
And and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased because I'm myself, but I actually like don't think I'm a very unreasonable person. If I always say this, I will give you the tools to succeed in a relationship with me. I will tell you exactly what I want, when I want it, how I want it, what I like, what I don't like. And you just have to follow that. And if you don't, and then you get mad at me for like not being the way that you want me to be, but I've literally told you that I just don't like it when you do this, please don't do it, then and then I explain that to you and I say, bro, I already told you that I don't like that. Can you please just not do that? And then you're like, oh, well, you go off on me. It's not going to work out. Okay?
We gotta adapt. That's the thing. Adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will adapt to you and you adapt to me. Like, simple as that. But I can't adapt to you if you don't tell me. Right?
Yeah.
You got to
And
communicate.
if you can't adapt, then you know that it's not gonna work. That's life.
Exactly. So good. And that's why intimacy is so important, because there might be certain things that are like make it or break it for certain people when it comes to intimacy. But for other people, it might not be a make it or break it. And that's why it's important to know for everyone who's watching this with this talk show right now, think about yourself in these situations and be like, if my partner lacks this kind of intimacy, will I still be okay with them? I think so. Then that's a good mental note for you to know that out of all these 5 or 6 intimacies, 2 of these are like, they have to happen in my relationship. If they don't, we will fall apart. Or if you're like me, I kind of need all of them in my relationship, or at least some level of all of them. So the first type of intimacy that I wanted to discuss with you all, and I will try not to have tech issues, and I will try to do this properly, is give me a sec. We're going to be talking about emotional intimacy. All right. I did it right. Boom! Emotional intimacy, my friends. All right. So emotional intimacy is the description is it's the type of intimacy that makes you feel safe to be vulnerable, kind of like what Skeleton was talking about, and to share what you're feeling without being judged or looked down upon. And some examples are to be able to cry in front of your partner, to be able to show basically your flesh to them and share things with them that are bothering you, things at work, things about your life, things you're struggling with achieving, when you have actual problems like alcoholism or you've been through something traumatic in your life, for you to feel secure enough in a relationship to share that with that person. Have you guys experienced maybe a lack of or a good form of that kind of emotional intimacy with someone? It could be anyone in your life.
I can give you. I have example. I have
Yeah.
an example of it. Um, so what I did was I stopped being emotionally open to a person once past relation got wrong
Because of, sorry? It cut
because of it,
off.
because of that. So because of that, in the next relation I had, I ended up not being as emotional as I was in the past relation. Why?
Okay, so
Because
because you were, okay.
I opened up myself so much regarding my feelings and how I was feeling, and it was a year like to forget most of the things happened. And then I opened up like to the very intimate, deep feeling, and then it began to see me with other eyes. So I can't really understand why,
Yeah.
but that affected my next relation. So I ended up not knowing the reason, and then it affected me. But then I got like, okay, so why can't I be emotional to another person? And then I got to the issue because of that, because I felt like I didn't get any help from my partner when I opened up myself to it, and then right now I don't believe that it's going to change anything if I open. So like this is the best example I can give regarding
Because you feel
this topic.
like if you open up to another person like that, you feel like they'll might respond in the same way.
Yeah, but that is not a way of thinking because everyone is different from each other. But
I love that he mentioned that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, it's because I know it, you know. But the feeling that I get in not trusting again in the other person because the past relation it went in a bad way, like it affects me a lot, to be honest.
And do you think it's something that you can even have control over to bring yourself to open up to somebody?
I think you can, like, you just gotta do it. That's the thing. The thing that it's hard is thinking about what is going to happen next.
Yeah.
So like, it's complicated
Yeah.
in that situation.
But I agree with what Skeleton was saying. And that's why I asked if he thinks that it's something that can be done, because I do think it can be done. But the first step is what Skeleton mentioned, acknowledging that, oh, I'm like this because of
Yes.
XYZ, right? You acknowledged it. And then, second of all, you're like, do I want to even open up to this partner? Sometimes the person you feel is not worth it. But if you find someone who's worth it, you have to acknowledge that I do want something good with this person, and it's not going to happen if I have this wall up. And then three, you're like, how do I break this wall? So you are automatically recognizing every time you exhibit the kind of behavior that's a wall, you're like, bro, I just did that. Nope, I got to be better. How should I go about this? So it's like being conscious of it and then working on yourself to not
Yeah.
continue that behavior. So I definitely think it can happen. And just for everyone watching and for us, can you give an example of something that you shared that wasn't received well, or how it wasn't received well? Was it in the moment, or was it gradually over time they looked at you
I think it was
differently?
mostly graduating, like from time to have a specific example to give you. I think it was happening from time to time, days, months after months, and then started the grade. Uh, to end, it ended.
Yeah.
That was it, and I think thought that it was because of it. Most of the times when I was in a bad mood, I was in a bad phase in my life, and I was opening myself, telling all my feelings. Like they're not always good, so I gotta tell them to someone. And it started degrading. I don't know.
And what do you mean by they're not always good? Meaning, like, were you directing them towards her, or you just weren't? You were sad, you were
No, I just
angry, you were
most of the
depressed.
times, we just wanted to get it out, like just say it. Like I wish I never had this job, or I wish I never had this meeting, or something like
You
that.
just
You
needed
know?
a vent. You just needed to get
Yeah,
out. Okay.
yeah,
That's rough. Not even being able to mention those things that are like weighing on you, which is the prime example of have not having that emotional stability and intimacy in a relationship.
yeah.
I'm sorry that you went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'll
rough.
go through something.
Sorry?
We all go through something.
True.
Yeah, true. How about you, Muffin?
We all go through something. So yeah, in my case, in my case, like I'm, I'm actually pretty good at like hearing others out and trying to comfort them or just listening to them or help them if that's possible or if that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, I'm pretty bad at letting my feelings out, like my bad feelings out. My good feelings, I'm great at it. Like the
Mm-hmm.
bad ones, not so much. Like I, I can tell you that something is not going well, but I tend to do it in a way that is too neutral because I don't want it to affect me too much. But if you do this, the other person does not know how much it is affecting you. For example, if you say like, yeah, I'm stressed because I gotta find a job, or like if you just say, yeah, gotta find a
Yeah, it
job,
sucks. I gotta find a job.
like yeah. If you don't say like I'm very stressed,
Yeah.
like every day I'm thinking about it and stuff like this. Like people won't understand, and that's like I'm not good at saying that. Like I've learned a little bit with time, and like to show exactly what I'm feeling and how strongly I'm feeling, like the bad things. But I still have work to do on this, and yeah.
What
And
helped you get
also,
better? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
like it's also been pretty hard to learn this because I've been in a relationship where I've tried to do this and show how I was feeling, and the person could not hear that. Like they acted as if I didn't need support, even though I was clearly saying I need support. Yeah,
Yeah. It sucks that the person you ended up trying out this new method on
yeah,
wasn't receptive to it. It's just so frustrating when you finally get to that point where you're like, oh, I have a problem. I need to fix it. And then you're like, next time I'll be better. And then the person that you open up that part of yourself to is like, does not help you get better at that. It actually makes you regress and feel like, am I doing something wrong? Maybe I should have
yeah.
just stuck to what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Right?
That's that you can't do that. And that's one
Yeah.
thing we always do as well, like to pass past relations to the actual relation. Getting signs to see if there is something wrong which happened in the last relation.
True,
So that
true.
happens a lot as well.
It's so hard not to compare. I am guilty of it. I am so guilty of it. Really trying to get better, but it's rough. What do you think helped you, Muffin? Because I feel like this is a term that I call emotional constipation, when people just cannot release their feelings.
Yeah.
And what do you think helped you with your emotional constipation?
Because if you try to be aware enough of yourself, you realize how much it how much it's eating you inside, like how hard it is affecting you to not vent and to not talk about things and to not have someone support you through hard times in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to analyze and do and go like, okay, so this feeling is killing me inside.
Yeah.
I have to do something with this, and so the only thing you can do with this is like talk about it with someone. Like, yeah.
It's
And by the
exhausting
way,
holding it
if you
inside.
don't if you don't have a relationship, you have friends. You can talk with friends that you trust, friends that you know will be able to listen. If you don't know which friends those are, try. You'll figure out very quick, like which ones are ready to listen, which one are ready to support, which one can't allow themselves to support you because they're already too fragile or this topic is not for them or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And do you
exactly.
think that there was a reason that you initially weren't very open with your feelings and able to express what you truly
I,
needed?
I think it's because I tend to try to be a support for other people.
Okay.
So
Were you
I don't
raised like that? Or did you need to be like that at an early age? Or have you just always been like that?
perhaps, but I think like everyone in my I think in my because everyone in my family is like that. Like we care for each other very much. But we only want to help the others and not be helped. So I
Yes.
think that's the thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I figured it was something like that because when I was younger, my brother and I were the only kids that weren't like going through something, even though we were going through something, and my two older
yeah,
siblings were. So my parents like focused a lot of attention on them, and I was like, they don't got time for my problems, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it by myself, and it crushed me. Like for
um,
years and years, like holding things inside and like dealing with things, when you're in high school, there's all kinds of things going through your head. There's like the depression. There's also like I was always a tomboy and I was never really like into a lot of things that a lot of the girls were in. So I didn't really like get along with a lot of the girls. And then I finally made some friends, but I just knew deep inside that I never quite fit in, even though I had a group of friends and we're deep down, I knew I was just like, I'm not like everybody else. I just knew I just didn't fit
yeah,
in. And that kind of like not having someone to talk to about that is really devastating at that age. Like that, those
yeah,
16, 17, 18 is very crucial. years. And then there's, of course, you know, everyone around you's like dating and stuff, and you're like, I don't want to get involved in that because I didn't during that age. I personally chose not to. And how do you deal with these feelings that you're feeling at those ages when like there are all these guys, like not all these guys, some guys are like trying to like get with you, and you're just like, how do I stay safe? I'm so scared. But then I also might want to try a little something, but I don't want to. So it was like all of this happening at one time. And there was no one to really talk to about that. So keeping all of that inside. And then anytime I was angry or I was sad, kept it to myself, just like pushed it down. And then I think it was only my last relationship, which was 3.5 years ago, where he taught me to be a better communicator. He was, he was definitely like the best person for that. He really was patient with me, and he taught me how to be a better communicator. I used to do the whole passive aggressive thing. Y'all know about that? It's fucking annoying. Yeah. Don't do it. It's so annoying. I used to be so annoying. Like, I used to do the whole passive aggressive thing and just not talk about my feelings, but expect you to know that I'm mad at you. So you should know what you did 2 days ago because you pissed me off, but I'm acting like everything's cool, but you should know you pissed me off. I'm angry at you. I'm not acting like I'm angry, but I'm angry at you. Like, people are not going to know. So annoying. And so that's why I know, like, it stemmed from family, right? That's why I asked that. I think the thing with emotional intimacy is that it's such also a good test of friends. Because if you don't have emotional intimacy with a friend, are they really a true friend?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you know you can't go to them and just bawl your eyes out, are they a real friend? Ooh, shit. Thank you for the host, baby. Thank you for the host. I can't not vibe to this beat. It's so good. Oh my God, I can't stop myself. Thank you so much for the host, Rid. I appreciate it. Thank you. Also, welcome, Rid. I feel like it's also a societal problem. According to it, men aren't allowed to display many emotions.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You are so freaking right. Orion13, by the way, thank you so much for the follow. You see that raven? That is you. You are now under my wing. Welcome. What were you going through? Yeah. What were your parents focused on besides you? My older siblings, as I mentioned, they were going through their own stuff. Holding things in is what I do best, but it's so unhealthy.
I can say that I had most of the times the situation that Muffin passed, regarding like I'm the one that everyone in my house comes to me. I live with my brother and my mother. But then, whenever I have some issues or some trouble, there's no one here to listen to me or to understand. But I have to be the one getting all their things together. So most of the times, and that would happen with that relation that I told about, because I was getting pressure at home. I was getting most trouble. My brother had an accident with the car in that time, and everything was on me. And then I tried to get with her. And that didn't work. So that's why it ended as well as badly.
That's the worst, when you're already going through so much in your house and you just want, like, in my opinion, your romantic relationship should be like your haven. The way I imagine it is, you know how I say, like, you are now under my wings when my follow speech? That's how I imagine a romantic relationship. It's literally snuggling into someone's wings and they just wrap you and you're like, I'm safe. It doesn't matter what's shitty in my life, but I'm good. And it doesn't just go for male female dichotomy. It's literally both of you are those wings of warmth and security and loving, trust and everything. That security, both of you are that for each other. So if you can't get that in your relationship, and I think out of all of these, I do feel, for me personally, emotional intimacy is up there. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very expressive person. So if I can't express myself to you, it actually feels like my wings are being clipped. Like I'm a shell without my emotions and my passion and my words. So I've been in a relationship where my words were felt like they had to be stifled because this person had a temper, and I felt like anything I would say, it would like set him off and he would get angry at me. So I was that person that would like bite my tongue and always be the bigger person for him, always put his needs above mine, always be like catering to his needs. We did not have emotional intimacy because I wasn't able to go like the worst thing is, guys, and I don't think I'm ever going to forget this unless I have some kind of, God forbid, like illness where I lose my memory. We were breaking up, okay? And it was one of those breakups that like dragged on over the course of months, but it was hurtful every time because he was, I thought at that time, my first love. And every time I would cry about it, he'd be like, stop crying, you're over dramatizing things. You know how much that hurts? For like someone you truly love, right? And you're crying because you don't want it to end, but you know it should end, and that's the right thing to do. And they tell you to stop crying because you're being too dramatic. Last time I checked, our relationship ending was not being dramatic. Like that is a dramatic thing. It's a pivotal moment in people's lives. So emotional intimacy is definitely up there for me. And I think if I don't have that with my partner, it's over. It's not going to work out. Yeah.
I think I'll have time to think about it throughout the show. But for now, I'm going to say emotional is number one. Like, okay, let's say you have all the other types of intimacy. You don't have emotional intimacy. It still feels very empty to me. Like, yeah. So
Yeah. I agree. I feel like it's really up there for me too. And this is coming from someone who like loves physical intimacy, and physical and sexual are like together. Physical and sexual are different, but emotional, like it's up there for me. It's up there for me.
But I'm curious to see if we're gonna change our mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Slay says, I think, or no, so Vic says, yeah, when you have that person where nothing from the outside world matters, it's just a safe haven. Exactly. Slay says, I think most of my problems don't require a lot of attention and intimacy, but it does require some. I like to say people mistake low maintenance for no maintenance. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Just because I'm low maintenance don't mean I'm no maintenance. Yes. Say it. Yeah. Say it.
True.
When I get no, it messes up my equilibrium. 100%. I like this video that I was watching about this intimacy. She was like, in the video, I think she was a relationship psychologist, something like that. She was saying most people, or like generally speaking, most people, their deepest desire is to feel safe and loved by another human being. And we just want love at the end of the day. We want that true, most of us want that true, raw love. And intimacy provides that love. So when a relationship has these levels of intimacy, or at some form of intimacy that is valuable to you, that's true fulfillment, because you have that basic need of yours and that basic desire of yours fulfilled. So with Slay saying it's not no maintenance, because it's not natural. We don't, as like, we're social beings. We don't thrive in situations where we're not loved, we're not cared for, where there's no attention, no affection. So no maintenance in some kind of relationship that's valuable to you, Slay, is definitely not beneficial or not healthy. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
Can we get a word from Scrumptious down below? I feel like they've been trying. Who doesn't love raw love? Am I right? Exactly. Hello, Vertigo. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And yes, Skell is scrumptious indeed. And so is Muffin. I got some scrumptious guests here. Mm-hmm. The second type of intimacy that we'd like to discuss is spiritual. So this one is a little more unique in the sense that it might not apply to everybody, because not everybody's religious. But the other facet of spiritual intimacy, so there's one facet that is things like practicing a faith together, worshiping something that's bigger than you. But for people who are not religious and don't believe in a God or a higher power or associate with an organized religion. Spiritual intimacy can also be just doing something that is bigger than you, doing something, contributing to something that is bigger than you. So that could be a big project. That could be, in my opinion, I think it kind of ties with experiential intimacy, where it's like helping the poor or building. There's a thing we do in Toronto called Habitat for Humanity. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No.
No.
So it's a project that you can sign up for, and you work together with a whole bunch of volunteers, and you build a home for a family that is underprivileged and impoverished. And I think for me, that would count as a spiritual experience, doing that with my partner. Like, you're literally contributing to someone's place of home, their peace, like their
Yeah.
eventual home where they're going to live and make memories. You are building with your hands. Like, they literally give you tools, they guide you what to do. You're given planks of wood. Like, it's the real deal, guys. So I think that that would be spiritual, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Like, have you ever experienced spiritual intimacy in your relationships?
I think that to be honest, in that example that you gave, it can be spiritual to you, but it might not be for the other person. So
Yeah.
that person might just be doing that because it makes you happy. But
Yes.
it's still contributing for something bigger because the person is there for that person.
Yeah.
And most of the times that's what happens. We gotta adapt to that interest, and to make some of it as well. Like at least try.
Yeah.
Regarding that, the spiritual, I'm a person which, like, I vibe along with the vibes. So whenever if I feel good with somebody, like I'm gonna have a relation with that. Like I'm gonna be fun. I'm gonna do some jokes, and then it kind of comes to me as well. So I'm gonna vibe with that person. That to me, that is spiritually most of the time. So whenever in the beginning, if you have a good vibe,
Yeah.
okay, a good energy and a good flow with the conversation, I think it can be connected to spiritually as well.
I really like that, because when I was reading the spiritual description, I was like, I understand the premise of it, but I really think spiritual intimacy is, out of all of these, the most subjective.
Yeah.
My form of spiritual intimacy
Yeah.
might not be the same your definition as yours. And
Yeah.
that's why it's so important to kind of know what your definition is. And then if you get to that point, understand what your partner's version of spiritual intimacy is. Or if you don't even care much about spiritual intimacy, it's good to know why they're doing what they're doing. So, for example, the example Skeleton gave is I was saying, like, oh, maybe I want to do Habitat for Humanity, and my partner goes along with it. To me, it's a spiritual experience. To him, he might just be doing it because he's like, oh, she's always wanted to do this. Hell yeah, I'm down for this project. So for him, it's more an experiential form of intimacy. It's him
Yeah.
experiencing something with me, which is still intimacy, but we're just viewing it a little differently. But I'm also might be viewing it as experiential intimacy. Neither one is right or wrong. Intimacy, there's no like right and wrong in categorization. It's just knowing what's important to you and if your partner is able to satisfy your forms of intimacy. But to that point, I want to also mention that there are some people who go along with things begrudgingly because they just like want to keep the peace, or they don't want things to get rocky, or they're trying to like save the relationship or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I really feel like those are unhealthy, and though that's not genuine intimacy, because guess what? Those usually come up in fights. I did so much for you. I didn't even want to go to that stupid building thing that you like to do. I just did it for you. You think I like to be out in the sun building this damn house for this person I don't even know? I just did it because you like it. Like, that, better don't do it. Better don't do it. Examine why you're doing things, because if it's going to come out in a fight or you're not doing it from a pure, clean heart, better not to do it, because that's not genuine.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Later it will come to you.
It will
Like,
come. It will come.
it will say, like, for example, my girlfriend went with me to a video game show because I like it, I love it, and then later in a discussion we had, she said, "Oh, but I went to that with you," and I was like, "And what? What do you mean? What do you mean?"
Are you tallying? Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
me. Slightly off topic, but I was in a relationship with someone who I expressed to them from the beginning that I didn't want kids. And he was like, you know what? If it's between you and kids and I'm going to lose you, I'd rather give up the kids. And my heart was just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to trust you, but I don't know. And then later on, it came up like, hey, I gave up kids for you. And now you're saying this is a break up point for you.
Yeah.
Like, you should kind of give up this because I gave up this for you. And I don't think that should ever be the case. If you give up something for someone, you should do it free, with a free spirit. Like, I love you. I'm giving this up because I love you. And I don't want anything in return for you. I just want you. I just want you. Like, that's all I want. But if it's a tally system, like, okay, I'll give this up and hopefully they'll give up this. Or it's like a long con, bro, it's not going to end well.
No.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
That
do
doesn't
it.
work.
It
In
doesn't
that way
work.
in that way, you're gonna end up not being you. At the end of that.
Yes. Yes.
So like, might as well just lose the person.
Yeah.
Which is what happened, because I wasn't going to compromise that thing I needed from him. And I knew deep down inside the fact that he brought this up means he genuinely didn't want to give it up. And I am not about to get married to someone 10 years down the road and say, shit, I thought you would change your minds and have kids with me. Now what do we do? And my mind is not changed. So then we're going to split up. I'm sorry. No, my heart will survive the hurt right now, but I don't know about 10 years down the road. What about you, Muffin? What do you think about
Wait,
spiritual intimacy?
I want to answer the Torvik quickly in the chat.
Yes.
He's saying that regarding the doing something for your partner, that's called adapting. Yes, if you don't feel forced to do it just because it's the right thing. If you want to do it for your partner genuinely, or because you want to do it, do it. If you're thinking like, oh, I don't want to do it, but if I say I don't want to do it, then I'm gonna get like screamed at or whatever. That's not a good reason.
Which shows
Or-
you lack
or if-
emotional intimacy because you aren't able to talk about your true feelings.
Yeah.
Full circle, my friends. Full circle.
It happens all the time. Circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not the same thing, but it's good to adapt yourself to your partner's needs and their envies and stuff like this. No, not envies. Their wants.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, French. But don't feel forced to do it. Like, be honest about how you feel about doing stuff, and be honest. Even if it's not positive, say it.
Yeah.
Like, in a good way. Don't be a prick when you say it. But share what you feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what's lacking in most of the people right now.
Yeah.
And right now with this situation, even more.
Yes.
With
Yes.
COVID and the lacking of social connections right now, and being distant with the people, this is gonna affect more those.
Yeah.
I'm cutting. I noticed right now. I'm cutting.
Yeah. I just thought maybe it was because you were far away from the mic, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you hear someone banging on the wall, don't mind, okay? There's nothing happening.
Oh my.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, they might knock on my door once my brother gets home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Muffin, you were saying something. You were saying that don't do something if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can tell them, just don't be a dick. And that kind of brings me to my previous Real Talk, which was about the power of words. You can get your point across without being a dick. You can say it very lovingly, very nicely, very kindly. There's nothing fake about it because you do, at the end of the day, care about your partner. You don't want to hurt their feelings, but you also want to be transparent and honest with them because they deserve that. Because I also feel that if you're not doing that, you're kind of selling an inaccurate image of yourself, of
Yeah.
being this person who's interested in all these things that they're not interested in. And how are they supposed to know that you're not interested in these things if you don't tell them? And then you blow up 5 days later saying, I didn't want to do that stupid thing. I got sunburnt because of
Yeah.
you and all of this.
And sorry for pointing my finger. I'm sorry. Like I was about to say something about what you're saying. It's just for me to not lose
Yep.
my
Yeah,
way of
go ahead, go
thinking.
ahead.
And most of the times that in the beginning happened. But what happens is that you say that you like those things just to be able to go to that person.
Yeah.
Okay, so then some things with with the time passing, like 1 year, 2 years, you start knowing someone you didn't knew because it likes different things, and then it affects the other relations as well because the person will not trust anyone anymore,
Yep.
and that's a circle
Yep.
all around it,
It's a
all
circle.
around it, all around it.
Moral of the
Sorry,
story.
Raven. I'm gonna smoke 2 minutes, 3
Yep.
minutes. I'll be right back. Okay.
Sounds good.
See you in a bit.
Moral of the story is just be truthful from the beginning, because
Yeah.
eventually they're going to know you, right? They're going to know you, so might as well let them see you. Let them see you in the beginning. And I also think that if you're misleading them to believe that you're someone that you're not, that is a really shitty thing to do. And
Yeah.
you might not know that you're doing it, right? Like it might not be intentional, like, I'm gonna screw them over in the future. But you're not being fair to that person.
Like, you're not being fair to that person. You're not helping yourself because if you're not being yourself, like you won't feel at ease. You won't feel good because you won't feel at ease. Like you're not helping anyone.
No,
Like
you're not.
you feel like you're doing yourself a favor because you're feeling good because you get to spend time. But if you're not being you, you're not spending time with that person.
Yeah.
That's not you.
It's not
Like,
you. Unless you're a
yeah.
sociopath, then it's going to make you feel good. But it's
Yeah.
not fair to the other person. So just remember, it's about the other person too, not just about you.
No, sorry, yes. Definitely.
No, I totally agree with you what you said, but then I was like, what if they're a sociopath? So I'm just catching up on what Vic said. So someone shouldn't adapt. We're not saying don't adapt. We're just saying if you're adapting, do it with a clean heart, not begrudgingly. It's okay. I'll give an example. My previous partner liked football. Okay. I don't care about football at all. I really don't care about American football. I used to throw football like back and forth with my friends. I loved that. That's super fun. But I knew how much it was important to him. He loved fantasy football at that time. He would name all these players and all this. So, is it something that I can adapt on? Sure. So I went on Google. I searched up all these players that he's talking about because I wanted to impress him. Okay. So I messaged him and I was like, oh, so your draft coming up. Did you pick blah, 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 blah? And I kind of turned it into this like cute, flirty kind of game. And then he was like, oh, okay, I'm impressed. Oh my God. What? How you know this? So that's adaptability. I adapted knowing, okay, if I'm choosing to spend the rest of my life with this person, I'm going to have to get used to it. He's going to watch football. He's going to have his friends over and they're going to watch football. And I just got to be cool with that as long as he maintains, respectful boundaries and he's respectful, which he always was. So that's healthy adaptability. I didn't then throw it in his face later on saying, well, I started doing this for you. Why didn't you do this for me? Right? All right. Bro, like if she likes the rival sports team, but there's still love there is still that feeling that for now that's fine, but I'm gonna turn them. I can't relate. So I have no idea how that would go
Yeah.
down. I'm not very passionate about sports. I love playing sports, but I'm not passionate about sports teams. But if I was like supporting the wrong team or something, I think that's a really small thing if you want to convert them to your, as long as it doesn't actually like break your relationship. But if that's something that's really important to you and you need your girl to support the same team as you, then that's something that, you know, you might want to discuss with your partner beforehand or early on. Wordplay is so underrated. It really is. Thank you, Slay, for using that command. Brought to you. Okay, so Chris says one of the few relationships I had my girlfriend gave me a very intimate card at the start of the week. 5 days later, she wanted. Oh. 5 days later, she wanted to break up and no reason was given. I'm sorry, that took a turn. I was not expecting that. I'm so sorry, Chris. That's depressing. That's like an intimate card. That's why I'm so careful, because I'm a very, like, as I said, intimate person and passionate and sensual and all that person. So like I love pouring my heart into gifts and giving personalized gifts. So I do the year mark. Okay, I don't give you nothing till we hit the year mark. Okay. Before then, I will treat you to food, ice cream, cake, all of that. I'm scared, bro. I can't.
Imagine spending money in the first year, even if you don't know that it's gonna last more than that year.
It's true.
So yeah.
It's true, man. So I'm very careful with that. I can't do that to my heart. I know how much I pour into gifts. I love gifts and I love giving gifts. So I don't really pour too much into a person until I know they're like really in it for the long haul, you know? You should always be you, though. Who you said to adapt and now people shouldn't adapt. I'm just reading your comments, Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't like the NFL. He sounded like that.
When you did
No, he didn't sound like that. I'm just saying that he did. Hi, Clint. Welcome. Definitely still want to hear.
On that placeholder, the scrumptious. The fourth guest.
Oh my god.
Oh, the third guest, sorry.
Oh, I remembered your name color wrong. Was it an intimate card? I don't know. Yeah, Chris. Well, Chris said it was an intimate card. So, guess it was an intimate card. Also, I wanted to close off the spiritual bit with saying, sorry, go for it, Muffin.
And like, I was going to say, like, first time I saw spiritual intimacy, I was like, I don't know exactly if that qualifies it, but the first thing I thought about was music.
Ooh!
And that's not something I've shared with a partner of mine, like never, because I've never been with a musician partner.
Okay.
But with friends, musician friends, for me, this is the closest thing to like writing music together, creating music together, or performing music, but in a special way.
That's
like
the type
for
of
me,
energy.
yeah. This is the closest thing for me to spiritual
And that's a lot.
intimacy.
And that's a lot different from me and Raven, from what
Yeah.
we thought about spiritually.
Yes.
So like, we all have definitions for it,
Yeah.
but it's all the same.
It is. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something bigger. It's something that you can't
Yes.
quite explain, but it links you to that person. You know? In terms of practicing the same faith. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a Muslim. So I practice the religion of Islam. And my previous partner was Muslim as well. And I remember the times that we did pray together, it was literally like closer than sex. It was really an interesting experience. So I definitely feel like I've experienced some form of spiritual intimacy. And now that Muffin has mentioned the music bit, I have a story for you guys. So I was at karaoke one time. I think it was probably the first or second time I've ever been to karaoke in my life. And, you know, how the room is dark and everything. I'm setting the scene. And Summertime Sadness. I put that in the list because, you know, karaoke, sad songs, my jam.
Yeah.
Okay? Dark and all that. Summertime Sadness comes on. I was like, oh, they're like, oh, whose song is that? I was like, oh, it's my song. Start singing it, getting into like, you know, the song and vibing off of it. And then I hear a voice join in. and your girl gets goosebumps all over. And I'm like, oh my God, what is... And I've never felt whatever I was feeling. I've never felt that in my life. So I think we shared a little bit of intimacy right there, okay? We didn't do anything. He was on the other side of the room. I literally, like, guys, I was so shaken up that as soon as he started singing, I froze up and I was like, what is happening right now? And my boyfriend is right beside me. And and I look back at him and I was like, I am not making eye contact. I'm going to look ahead and just continue the song. But it was definitely outer worldly.
Yeah.
It was very strange the way our voices just meant, like, oh God, I can't describe it. It's literally, I've never felt it in my life. It was a one-time deal. So I totally understand what you mean, Muffin. I get it.
I definitely get it.
I get it. The third one is an interesting one for me, and I think it's definitely up there as well. Intellectual intimacy. So this is the ability to share your interests and your ideas with your partner. So this could be talking about like a book that you're reading and a theme in the book, or having these real talks about like life and really diving deep into topics and being able to kind of meet with your minds. And I definitely feel like if I do not have this with my partner, it will fall apart. I am a talker. I am a deep thinker. I love self-reflecting and introspection. I'm that person that will wake up and be like, you know, I was thinking, I really don't like the way I do this and this and this. I don't like that habit about me. And I'm thinking that, you know, there was a movie I watched and it kind of inspired me to do this and this and this. And the theme of the movie was this. And I kind of want to incorporate that in my life. What do you think? And I want them to be able to be like, okay, I see. And why do you think that though? I don't want them to be like, that's too much. Slow down. Well, what? What? Or what I've also met, which I never knew was a problem, but it's a problem for me. Someone who watches art. So I think movies are art. I think TV shows, anime, whatever, songs, they're art. And they don't feel or have any takeaway. Any takeaway.
Yeah.
That's a problem. If I talk to you about a book that really shook me, okay, or a movie that shook me, and I was like, bro, that scene, I felt it. And if they hit me with the, oh, but it was just about a girl walking on a train track and like she was just talking about life, like I don't get it. It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. So intellectual, it's got it. Yeah. What about you guys? What's your experience with it, or how important is it to you?
You want to talk, Muffin?
No, go ahead.
Like, to me, until now, I never found someone with the same interest as mine. I'm not a football guy. Here in Portugal, there's a lot of football as well.
Yeah.
I like Harry Potter.
Okay, what's your house right now? What's your house?
Gryffindor.
Who?
Gryffindor.
Okay. Well, what's your house, Muffin?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I'm going to message you the quiz. You must take it, please.
No.
If there is one thing that I can ask of you, I just would like to know your house. I'm not going to judge you or anything. I just
Okay.
But there's a quiz for it.
Pottermore.
I thought you were asking about my preference.
No, you didn't do the.
Oh
no,
my God.
you got to do the test
do
too.
the quiz. No.
You can take like I was going to London to get the Harry Potter museum this year.
You were gonna
Then
do what?
COVID.
You were gonna do what?
To the museum of Harry Potter in London.
That's so cool.
I wanted to do that. Like I like those things. I like gaming my entire life. I like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones.
Fantasy.
Yes, all regarding fantasy.
Also,
there's one thing that I like, for example, like I like horror movies
Yes.
based on true facts.
Oh my God, those are so scary. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until now, even with the gaming thing and the streaming thing, and like those things regarding interests, which are my interests. I never found someone with it.
Yeah, I feel you. I can relate, and I kind of feel that I do meet people, but they're like passionless, which is very strange. I don't know if this is a new trend, but people just don't have interests. And if they
Yeah.
do have interests, they're not passionate about it. I
That's the
think
thing. They are
what
common. They are so common.
I
The
know.
interests of everyone is so common. Oh, I like walking in the beach, and I like running in the beach as well. But I like to go to the zoo also, and I like animals.
Yes, that's a big one.
Don't make fun of
And
people. Come on, they have the right to like cool things. I like the beach, by the way.
I like the beach too.
Like, and I'm not making like a problem. It is the most common thing, which there are. I never found someone with like a girl
Alright.
saying to me like, "I love video games," and like,
Yeah.
where have you been?
Where I know. Actually, what's
Where?
interesting, let me to set the record straight a little bit. In my workplace, guys, guaranteed I am one of the only 3 people that play video games. And out of them, of course, I'm the only girl. That's not the point though. The point is that I guess people just become boring as they get older. Like, to me, video games have always been fun, and it's not something almost every person I talked to at my workplace was like, "You still play those? I used to play them when I was a kid, but I don't play them anymore." Why does there was a saying that was so beautiful that was like, "I grow up when I stop having fun," or something like that, because
Yeah.
you just because you get older, just because life happens, doesn't mean you have to suddenly lose your little bit of child if that's what it's being childish. You don't have to lose that. You don't have to lose interest in these things just because you've aged or you've got married or you have kids or whatever. I think it's actually a great way to connect with your kids, especially if they're going to be playing these games. It's a great way. Like, how cool is that? Right? If like my nephews, my sister started playing League of Legends and then my nephew got involved. Like, that's sick. They can bot lane together. Like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But it just, I totally understand what you're saying, Skeleton. It's so hard to find people that have the same interests as you. And then when you do talk to them about your interests, they look at you like you're immature. They automatically judge you based on your interests. Like, I was judged for being immature because I was the only person at my other workplace who played video games. And as soon as my boss heard that, they automatically started looking at me differently. And it's so sad because I would like to think that I'm a pretty I'm not saying I'm super intelligent, but I am trainable. Like, I like to learn. I do like to learn, but that automatically goes away as soon as you say I like video games.
It should be the opposite. Like, come on, video games are the perfect training mechanism for people. Like, you have so many different things to do in video games. Like, it requires so much talent.
I can give you one example right now. Have you noticed the game Among Us right now?
Yeah.
That is teaching to how people should be false and fake.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. Yeah, actually, yes. That is a there's a skill for that. It's it's kind of like negotiating.
It's perceiving something. It's perceiving, no?
Oh, it might be perceiving and negotiating, because you're kind of negotiating a little bit when you're selling incorrect information to be the truth. It's messed up.
I played my first Among Us game just before the stream, so.
Were you a crewmate?
Oh, what?
Were you a crewmate?
Not always, though.
Were you imposter?
The first game.
No. The first game I was crewmate, but we played like 10 games with friends or something like this.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more.
Okay.
I'm a good imposter, by the way. Do not trust me.
Imagine being right away the imposter.
That happened to
Do
me.
not trust me.
Okay, do you guys know the story? Oh my god, side note, I'm gonna tell you, I'm telling Slay. First game, new map, imposter, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't kill anybody, because I didn't know how, Okay? But for some reason, everybody suspected me because didn't know what to do, so I was just running around all over the place. Looked super sus. So they were like, "So Raven, you know what? We think you're the imposter, but we'll let you go. Just tell us the tasks that you did." And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know this map. I don't know anything." So I was like, "So like I did the task in the navigation. I was like trying to move on to the next thing that I did, and they're like, which is." What is the task in navigation? And I was like, okay, it's either, so far I've seen tasks and it's like pulling the lever, pushing the button, holding things down, swiping cards. I pushed the button. And there was like a long pause and they're like, I guess we're going to vote Raven off because that's incorrect.
Oh, that is cruel. That is very cruel.
The first game that I had, I knew how to kill someone, but I didn't knew that only the imposters could get through vents. Okay. So then I went inside on top of the vent and then what? And then they were like, "Wah, it's skeleton." Yo.
Because they saw you vent?
Because I went through the vent. That was my first game.
Oh. They saw you through the camera or they were literally by the vent?
Everyone was around me.
Oh
I just tried to push the button. Then I was like, okay, I can't do this. Okay, nice.
Oh no! Shit.
I have the most unlucky things playing games.
Oh my god! Please tell me you
Most of the
clip
time.
that. Please tell me you clip that.
No, I don't have it on.
Oh,
It was an internal game at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that.
that is so funny. I would have loved to see that. Oh my
Definitely,
god!
yes.
Right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do have. I don't know. I don't have a clip.
If you
We can
find a
find it.
funny
No,
clip,
it's not.
you are more than welcome to share it in my Discord. Ooh,
Okay.
shit! Thank you for
I think I have a play, but it's from another streamer. I think I can clip it. But it's a play where I kill him, and then I accuse someone for being next to me. He was alone.
No! Thank
So
you so much for
that's
that
a smart
host,
play.
Glint.
You gotta do that once you're alone.
I
With
should have.
someone else, just click it and then you
Oh.
gotta laugh. You gotta laugh because it's
Yeah.
right in the face.
Yeah.
I might
Like,
try
yeah,
that.
I did it. I could do it. I did it. That was good.
Yeah.
I actually killed someone and then just continued walking my way while there was someone else right there. And then they called a button and he started laughing. He's like, "Yeah, Raven, I saw you kill it." And I should have flipped it, but I was like, I just started laughing.
wait.
I just started laughing. I couldn't do it.
I
you
think I
can
saw the
laugh
clip.
because
I think I saw that clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You can laugh because it's the same thing he was doing. He laughed as well. And then you were like, "You're just laughing because you killed it and it's obvious."
Yeah.
And I was trying to get first at the button.
My brother said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, why didn't you turn it on him?" I was like, I was so shocked because I didn't know how to kill. And then that's the minute I figured out how to kill. I didn't know. They need to change Among Us with the way that you just click on the person and then you die. Instead of going to the button and then pressing kill, I feel like that makes it a little more challenging, or maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But it'd be so much easier when you're using your mouse if you could just click on the person.
Yeah.
The thing I do is I leave the mouse only at that top of button whenever I'm playing it. And then I walk and then I just click it.
Oh.
They also
Because
like,
you don't use the mouse for anything else unless the task's correct.
Oh.
So if you're an imposter, you don't have to make the tasks.
Tip, you're welcome.
Let's go. We got a new imposter in the house.
Yes. Okay. Yo, we should play soon. I would love that.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. There are also shortcuts with your keyboard for use, kill, report, and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know which one.
I need
like,
to
which
learn.
key those. Like, yeah.
I need to learn. All right, Muffin, you were talking about intellectual intimacy and your experience with it.
Talking. Oh, schnapps. It wasn't me. No. Intellectual intimacy. Yeah, for me, like you said you need it absolutely. I need it from someone, like definitely. Like if I feel like I'm not being productive in my thinking, I feel like I'm withering away. Like I generally feel like, oh no, I need to think. I need to prove to myself that I can still think in an efficient way,
Yeah.
and learn new stuff and do things. But I've learned through my last relationship that I just like not only do I need it for myself, I need to share it with my partner. Like it can be anything. It doesn't need to be like anything scientific, anything complicated. I have to talk about stuff about I have to ask questions, I have to understand the person. It can be anything, but I need to share that with my partner or it's not gonna work. And when I say anything, like one of my favorite things to do is ask the randomest questions. Like for example, for me this fits into the intellectual intimacy. I know like you won't necessarily agree. Asking someone would they rather live in a world without pizza or pasta for me is intellectual intimacy.
Yeah, because
And
it shows
it's
their thinking and they actually I get that because I hate when I ask hypothetical, clearly just random questions to someone. They're
yeah.
like, "Oh, that would never happen in real life." Just I'm asking you the question, just think about it. And then they're like, "Yeah,
Yes.
but I would never be in that situation." And like, just answer the question.
Like,
So I get it because if there's a disconnect there, right? If you ask that question, they would be like, "But why do I only have to choose two things?"
yeah,
Would it?
like
Wouldn't you be like, "That's just the game. Just play along, please."
it is the first question out of 1,000. Don't worry.
They're gonna come more. They're gonna come more.
No, but yeah, like
You need that.
I need that.
I think everyone needs that, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
if you share the same interests, that's a big win for you because you're gonna do the same things.
Yeah.
I can be at my computer, and my girlfriend can be at my bed playing PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
for example, like,
It's true.
and that's hard.
Or I think one of the cutest things is, like I share intellectual intimacy with my brother in the sense that sometimes I'm in a league game and he comes in to ask me a question. He notices I'm in a team fight. He'll back off. He won't just be
Yeah.
like, "Why aren't you answering me?" Blah, blah, blah. He just knows, bro. Or all I have to say is, no, I'm in a team fight. And that's it. That's it. I just have to
That's
say
the
that.
thing.
That's
That's the
it.
thing.
There's no
No one
nagging.
understands
There's
that.
no nagging. There's no, "But I asked you 2 minutes ago. You thought," bro. Or pause the game. Or he'll come by sometimes and he'll be like, okay. I think you can kill her. You just have to flash, Q, ulti. So
Yeah.
that's bonding. If I would love
Yeah.
to have with my partner, where we're like looking at strats together and be like, "Yo, did you see that new champion? She looks sick, eh?" Like, "Oh, but she's not really my play style." And then we talk about it. We don't have to
Yeah.
agree on everything. I'm not saying play
Yeah.
the same champions, play the same
Just
game.
discuss.
I love that. I think that's so and to me, when my man is good at a game, that is such a turn on. I'm such a nerd. I'm such a nerd. Yo, show me your KDA. People sending nudes. I want your KDA, baby.
Click that.
And the nudes. And the nudes. How about the nude on the KDA? Oh my god. No, but for real, I totally get it. Interest, sharing interests. And again, we're not saying that everyone is going to have the exact same interests. Like my previous partner, he played Dota. He didn't like League, but he played League because he knew that I liked it. Football. He likes football. I love volleyball. I love watching volleyball and I like playing volleyball. But I started watching football and getting involved in football because he's interested in it. So it's not always going to line up, but the adaptability comes in with an open heart. It's genuinely because you know this means something to your partner and you want to please them. You want to be there for them. You want to be able, you want to, I think the way I look at it is like, if he's not going to, how would I feel if I couldn't connect with my partner on this? Imagine he wants to talk about the people he's drafting for fantasy football and he can't even just mention it to me. Like that would suck. That means, okay, got it. I can't share this part of my life with Raven. And I don't want that. I don't want him looking elsewhere to be like, oh, but they understand it. They get it. I want to be the person as much as I can, to understand as much of your life as you will let me into.
I think you're right. I also think like you won't be able to do this for everything they care about.
100%.
But the main things learn at least a
Yep.
little bit. Learn. Ask them to teach you. Like they will love it. You will get to understand them. Everyone is winning, no?
Yeah, that's why I
Like-
said as much as I can, I would love
Yeah.
to get involved. But for example, Dota, I tried it. I really did. I couldn't. So that was one thing I was like, I tried it, babe, I can't do it. Like it's too hard for me. I'm so sorry. And that's okay. That's one thing that we just wouldn't connect on. So he'll be playing Dota, I'll be playing my thing on another computer, or I would be like chilling in bed, on my phone or whatever, while he played Dota. But I also wouldn't then be like, this is so boring. You're playing something I don't like. I would just understand that this is his time. He wants to play Dota. I can entertain myself. I'm not a child. I will find something else to do. Or I would sometimes just come behind him and just like watch. Just so I can like learn mechanics. Or I'll be like, what's that? Who's that little guy? And he'd be like, oh, that's the carrier bringing the items. That's why it's different in League. But it takes a certain type of partnership because some people won't be willing
As patience.
and patient
I don't
to
think
teach
it's
you.
willing. I think it's patient.
Patient.
Most of the times, you were saying that, and I was thinking, like, if you did that to me while I'm playing Valorant, like, what is this? What is that? What is that? And I was like,
This is
at
when
the
he's
end of the
dying.
game-
When he's
At the end
dying.
of the game, I'll talk to you. Okay?
When
Right
he's
now, I have to
dead. When he's
Yeah.
dead.
Yes.
Then I
all the
would
time.
do it. Okay? Just like
whole
if
time.
I'm in the middle of a League game and you're having a serious conversation with me, like, can you pause for 2 seconds, please? So yes, no, I knew my timing. That much I knew. Gray screen means then I can talk. Or if he's like, oh man, that means he died, I can talk to him. But same thing in Valorant. Yeah, like unless I'm dead. Oh, Valorant, you gotta listen to freaking footsteps. So don't be talking in my ear. I'm trying to listen to footsteps. Bro, right here, like I'm trying to listen to the footsteps. Also, same thing goes with friends, by the way. Side note, in parties, that's why sometimes I don't like playing 5-stack because everyone's dead and you're the last one alive and they're just like, yo man, that Reyna though, oh my god, that Jet,
Oh,
yo,
yeah.
did you see that race? And I'm like, I'm just trying to listen, please. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I gotta teach you something else about that. Okay?
What, deafen everybody?
Remember to create a keybind with mute sound
Mute, yeah.
in Discord. Whenever you're alone at 4 or versus 3 or 2, because that's
Yeah.
what I did. Even in the game, you gotta have that. I play a lot with randoms. I play solos all the time. Most likely. I don't like 5-stacks because with 5-stacks
It's too
I
chaotic
learn-
sometimes.
I learn less.
Yeah.
Then I can like go up. I've been Immortal 1, Diamond 3, Immortal 1, Diamond 3. Whenever I go to play 5-stacks, I lose 3, 4, 5 in a row. And I don't know why. And then I'm like, okay, I'm a solo player. I'm playing like solo Sova all the time. All
Oh,
the time.
nice.
Yeah, only to get my info. Only to get my info. To not trust in my teammates most of the time.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Especially when there's no lack of communication. Like, I'll literally be asking, like, A's quiet, how's B? How's B, guys? How's B? Spike planted.
And no one is doing nothing. They hear it and like they hear it and they're like, what? Hey, I see no one on C. Hey, it's
Oh
me.
my god.
And then if you scream a little bit,
Yeah.
they will be like, why are you so toxic? And I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah, see, I don't get mad or anything, but I'll just be like, "Oh my god," or I'll do like something like this, but yeah,
Or
I
like-
don't get mad either.
the one thing I hate mostly in Valorant is dying from behind when someone is behind me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, imagine that my teammate is behind me, okay? And then I got a headshot coming from nowhere behind me just
Yeah.
because the guy was baiting me.
Oh.
I get so mad about that. I get so mad about that. Like, that's the only thing I hate.
Yeah,
I
that's not
assume
cool.
whenever I play bad, playing bad because I'm not good every single game. Okay, but dying from behind, that's I don't forgive. I don't forgive
I
about
see
that.
what you mean. Then you know, like, got it. I can't trust that raise or whoever it was. Like a mental
That's
note
the thing.
made. That's it. Got it.
Confidence issue.
Full
Again,
circle, baby. Full
circle. Again.
circle. Just gonna catch up a little bit on chat. Vic says, "This girl that I truly, truly loved and thought I found my forever girl, she ghosted me." Do you want to talk about what happened with that, Vic? Like how far you got? Did you have intimacy with her or any kind of intimacy? I know it was an art ninja. I would say the A word, but I feel like it would be taken in the wrong way. The A word. Don't know what that is.
I don't know what is the A word,
I don't know
to
what
be
that
honest.
is. Anything Jennifer Lawrence is our...
I'm thinking on one.
She's scrumptious. Which one? Asshole, maybe?
No. Well, I can say it most likely this one, so I don't want to say it.
Okay. Bradley Cooper is Art, Pacino, De Niro. Yeah, so imagine you have a partner who watched these movies that had very strong themes or meanings or very emotional scenes, and they felt nothing. They felt connected in no way. Like, I that's tough, man. Some people want their relationship to begin with intellectual intimacy before reaching other facets of intimacy. And that's why maybe that's one of the reasons that people pick movie dates where they talk about the movie afterwards, because then you can see if y'all have that intellectual intimacy.
Yeah.
I think the two earliest to show up are either intellectual or experiential intimacies.
Sorry, Sarah,
Like
one
the
more
first,
time?
Sorry, the first intimacies that you encounter when you meet someone are intellectual and experiential.
Yeah,
Most,
I agree.
Most of the time.
I agree. So, Vic, you're actually Slytherin? You didn't do the quiz either? Oh, Slay, you got... Guys!
I have to make it. You gotta send it to me.
Yes.
Then I have to make it.
You guys have to do the quiz, man, and then let me know your results, please, if you don't find the other...
Just do a stream where everyone is doing
I would love that, honestly.
Harry
Everyone is
Potter
doing the
team.
quiz.
For real, I would love that.
Let's
I
go back to Hogwarts.
am a self-proclaimed Ravenpuff because I've done the test multiple times, and I've equally gotten Ravenclaw and equally gotten Hufflepuff. So I am a Ravenpuff. And that's the end of that. I've settled it, okay? If you don't find the other person across from you attractive, there are no next steps. 100%. And I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing. As a society, we work with extremes. I truly, genuinely believe this. Don't fat shame. Don't skinny shame. But then you also can't be like, I don't like my body, I want to get better. Because then that's like, oh, you're fat shaming. It's okay not to be content with your flabs. It's okay to want to get better. That's not fat shaming, but that's also not skinny shaming. Society works in extremes. There's all these body positivity messages out there, but then sometimes that kind of forces you to force yourself to be okay with your body when you're actually not. I think there needs to be body positivity messages out there, but also messages saying, if you don't like your body, that's okay too. That is normal. We all go through it, as long as it doesn't actually start affecting your mental health and stuff. Like, we all have days where we're just like looking in the mirror and like, no, right? And that's okay. And that's okay. That's normal. Same thing with attractiveness. We're all about beauties on the inside. But then and then if you go only for looks, you're shallow. But the middle, normal, healthy part is that you're going to be planning to spend a lot of time with this person. And it's okay not to find them attractive. And it's okay to vocalize that if they so ask. And it's okay to not move further with the relationship if you don't find them attractive. There's no shame in it. Doesn't make you a shallow person. Doesn't make you a bad person. I am so tired of seeing this dichotomy of like, either you're super shallow because you don't find them attractive. You're only going for looks. Or there's only beauty on the inside, and if you go for someone not based on their looks, only personality. I think it's both. I want to find my partner attractive. I want to find their spirit attractive and their soul attractive and their heart. But physical attractiveness is important to me. I'd be
Here
lying
comes,
if I said it wasn't.
here comes the beginning again.
Yeah. Yes. It is
Because most of the
important.
times, people like it or not, your interest affect the people you're going to meet. Okay.
Yes.
So if you find a person like, oh, that girl, she's very good, she's very hot.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a conversation. But if something after that happens, it started that way. It started with the attraction
Yes.
and everything outside. So that's like we come to the physically coming into the intellectual
Yeah.
as well most of the time.
Uh, he said exactly, if you don't find the other person across from you attractive, there are no next steps. And I have a question for you both.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever met someone and felt like, they're not very attractive, and then like maybe a few hours later, maybe a few days later, when you saw them, because of what happened between, like because of the conversation that you had, because of anything, have you ever been feeling different about that person?
Yes.
Have you ever went from not being attracted to being pretty,
Yeah.
like very attractive?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more about it. Like, I'm very curious how it
Yeah.
happens.
I can get it. I can get it like on interests. For
Yeah.
example, I met someone who is not that attractive in my standard. I don't really have standards. Okay. But like I like good eyes. I like good talking,
Mm-hmm.
and most of that in a girl at first sighting and first meeting. But like even if she's not attractive to me, if the conversation starts with something
Ooh.
that is my interest, I'm gonna see a person differently because of their interest. But the main reason I'm meeting her is because I felt good about her or attractive. In the days that we are actually right now, you get a lot of photos, you get a lot of profiles, you get a lot of photos and fake photos, Photoshop and all that. But most of the main reasons which connects the people in those platforms are the outside.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that there's a barrier regarding the social interaction about that. So like even if she was not attractive, even in texting, if she talked me regarding an issue or an interest that I've been through or I like, that would attract me as well, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
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 I think for me, it started off with I had recently, at that time, gotten out of the first love relationship, and at that point, I was just like, never gonna find somebody, not interested in finding anybody. I just need this pain to stop. I just need to heal somehow and get out of this ditch. And excuse me, I met the person that would eventually become this most recent partner, the one that I had 3.5 years ago or so. And when I first met him, because I was so attached to my previous, like the first guy, I paid no mind to the second guy. But I enjoyed the interest that he had, the way he spoke, the intellectual intimacy was there, I would say the intellectual, emotional. I think that's what happened. We built intimacy, which led me to be like, oh my God, he's a beautiful person. And that's where the attraction came from. So if initially I was like, I could never see myself in a relationship with him. But then as I got to know his soul, I was like, he's pretty amazing. And I would be so lucky to be in a relationship with him. And so we finally grew into that, and it was beautiful. But that's a great question. That is a great question. I think it only worked out like that because we weren't dating. When we met as friends. I told him, like, I'm not interested in a relationship. I literally just need new people in my life because all my friends are associated with my first partner. And I just need new people to hang out with that are not trying to get with me or do anything with me, that are just hanging out with me. And he was always so respectful and so kind, and he treated me with such decency and just genuine kindness that I think that's what drew me towards him and allowed me to build a relation, like a friendship that turned into a romantic relationship with him. So it's weird how that works out sometimes. How if we were on a date, I don't know if I would have done a date number 2, but because we started off as friends, it worked out in our favor. Kind of makes you wonder how many dates it's not worked out with, but would it have worked out if you start off as friends? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there's a stigma, a negative stigma around being friend zoned. I don't agree with that. I think that is not really applicable all the time. I think there's certain people that right off the bat you're friend zoned, but that's a right off the bat thing. That's not like more time I spend without getting in your pants, the more friend zoned I become. It's not that. Trust me, I know from day one that we're gonna be friends. That's it. Ever. Like, it's never gonna happen. I think it's more like a vibe, like what Skeleton was saying. It's a vibe you get off a person, like, there's potential here. Maybe not right now, but maybe one day. So I think sometimes we're too much in a rush to like progress a relationship, and we don't like give it time to blossom and nurture. And sometimes I do believe that starting off as friends is really healthy. That's how all my relationships have been. So I can't really speak for how dating goes in the world. And I don't think I would fare very well in the regular dating world.
Same here. Definitely.
Well, to be honest, I'm not the type of guy which can have any relation in the night. Discos and all of that, bars and all of that. I don't get to meet girls. I don't meet girls in the night. Whenever I go out in the night with my friends, it's mainly to have fun, like get drunk as hell. I don't even think about it, you know. So the things which happen to me are, I said regarding my standards, it was because back in the days when I was playing competitively, I had some girlfriends.
I'm just gonna stretch.
Which they were like some photo models and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But in the end, it turned up to not be that good. Okay.
Oh.
Only because of the things outside, like I was talking.
Lack of intimacy, you mean, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for like nowadays, I don't. That's why I was saying I don't have any standards. Because whenever I find someone beautiful, to me it is, then like the rest, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, finding someone attractive or not, it depends a lot on the conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's the best way to proceed and avoid being disappointed. Like, not only judging on the appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I'm not the best looking guy ever. Like, I know I have my qualities.
Come on.
You know? I know I have my qualities. Everyone has their qualities, of course. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, guys. It was such a great question. Thank you, Muffin. I'm just catching up on chat. Glint says, I wasn't here when it was talked about, but I believe that everyone isn't attracted to the same things. Someone you think is attractive may not be attractive to me, and vice versa. And I also believe in energy and vibes. Yeah. So if you think you are ugly, people will think you're ugly. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
okay.
That can happen.
There is a US game called Malarkey? What is that? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna answer the Torvik. The Torvik, I played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare back in the days, and you can search for me if you want, Kick Skeleton. And you can see I was on the Portuguese scene with Kick, and I was Iberian champion as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Damn.
There was something that was mentioned in chat, and I just completely forgot. It was something about attraction, and I don't know. Oh yes, I wasn't. So Glint said I was here. I wasn't here when it was talked about, but I believe that everyone isn't attracted to the same things. I really like that he mentioned that because when you talk about attraction, people think for a female, for example, big boobs, big butt. But there have been men that I've met who are not a fan of huge boobs or not a fan of huge butts. And it's important to know what your view of attraction is, what you like in a person, what you find is sort of like a make it or break it. Like, I know there's some people who are just like, I just cannot be with the girl who don't have a big booty. And that's okay. Like, we are entitled and we are allowed to have our preferences. It's okay. If I want a man who has damn scrumptious arms, well sculpted arms, I should be allowed to want that. As long as I feel like you're putting in some kind of effort too. Like, I can't be freaking spilling all over the place, but I want a fit man. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. So, like, as long as I'm putting in my effort and I'm trying to like look good for myself and like my partner, if that's the way I want to look at it, then I think it's fine to want those things. So I think that's so important because I always used to think like, oh my God, like I don't have big boobs and like I don't necessarily have the hugest butt like Nicki Minaj, but I got a little something something, and maybe that automatically means like I'm not attractive. But there's always going to be people that find you attractive and who don't find you attractive. And I think it's so beautiful and humbling and liberating when you finally accept that not everyone is going to find you attractive. And it's okay. It is completely okay. And you're not going to find everybody attractive, and that is okay. I feel like that's such a good lesson because when people finally are in a interaction with someone who doesn't find them attractive, and so far everyone's found them attractive, it's like shattering for them. And they work hard to get you to like them and find you attractive, but they just don't understand that, bro, I just don't find you attractive. And it's not because it doesn't equate to like I hate you, I think you're a bad person. I just don't find you attractive. It's so shocking how many people don't talk about that and how normal it is not to find people attractive. It's automatically seen as like this negative, heavy, sad thing. Like I feel like if someone told me that I think you're cool, Raven, but I'm not like attracted to you in that way, I would like to think that I have the emotional stability to be like, okay, I respect your opinion. Like, that's cool. I thank you for telling me. That's cool.
And no one likes to be rejected.
Yeah, like it's gonna suck if I actually like the person. I'm not saying you don't have to like you're not allowed to mope. Like I would probably mope if I really like the person, but I feel like to turn it into like, well, you know what? I didn't want you anyways. We all know those people. Okay? We all know those people who are like get rejected and they don't take it well, and then
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah, exactly. I've been catcalled on the street, and then when I don't give the guy attention, it's automatically like, oh well, you know what? I didn't want you anyways. Blah, 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 all this. It's like a second ago you wanted me, but okay, we're not gonna talk about that. It's very silly. Also, side note, but I think it's very attractive when a man can handle rejection well. Like when I explain to you the things that I don't like in you or the things that I don't quite find attractive, and they're able to take it and they walk away saying, it sucks, but I understand. Like, you have your preferences and I totally get it. That's so hot. That is amazing. And I'm not just saying, you can think someone is hot and not want to like jump into bed with them. You can just be like, I respect that. Like, that's attractive. So I will not get with you, but I think that's attractive. So just remember that, like, confidence, and really like owning your sense of self. Because to me, that's owning your sense of self. It's very attractive because that's you acknowledging that, okay, I don't work for them, and that's okay. I will work for somebody else. It's okay. It's okay. The next form of intimacy that I wanted to discuss with you guys is experiential. We kind of touched a little bit on it, and it's the most, I think, straightforward out of all of these, and the most easiest to come about. It's just experiencing things with your partner, but the catch is without distractions. So you're not checking your phone, you're not like talking to somebody else and talking to them. And you know those people who sometimes like you're hanging out with them and their like eyes are all over the place? That's being distracted. And I understand that there's some people who do that for safety. One of my friends, every time I'm with him, his eyes are kind of everywhere, but that's because he's just cautious of his surroundings. That's different. And he told me that. He was transparent with me, and he told me, he's like, I promise I'm listening. I'm just like, you never know when things can happen, and I just it's like a reflex. I just do it.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but we're talking about the people who are like, oh, but what's that? Oh, what's that? Oh my god, he's looking at like, oh my god, they're looking like that. And then they're also looking everywhere else. So experiential is experiencing things without the distractions. Have you guys experienced this, and what have your experiences been like, and is it important to you?
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. It can be so, like simple things like going on I'm gonna say rowboat. It's not. It's not a rowboat. Like it's
like a boat, like a ship.
Yeah,
like
but where you go with your legs are.
Is that kayaking? Paddle boat.
Paddle boats.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Paddling boat, paddling, something like that. I don't know.
We're gonna call it
That's
paddle
paddling.
boat. Yeah.
Okay. like visiting the town of my ex-girlfriend and going on a paddle boat for hours. You don't check your phones. You just go there and you enjoy it. And you see huge boats just right next to you, and you're like, oh. You're both like, the boat is huge. like going to the spa and just enjoying the day together. Like, yeah, simple stuff. It can be also something more like
elaborate, like an opera or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, for me, the opera is more common than the other two things.
Okay.
Because I have to go for my projects, my professional project. So yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Or it can be as big as traveling. Have you ever traveled with your partner, Muffin?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Where did you go?
No, because we are living in different countries. So
Oh, it's a travel to go see them.
You travel together to other places. We met in Italy. I lived in France. She lived in Germany.
Oh my
god!
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah.
Are you guys planning to stay in a place together? Like, are you picking one?
Like we're not together anymore.
Oh, that partner. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that is quite. And those are expensive countries to travel to.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I complain a lot when I have to travel only 300 kilometers. Like.
Yeah, that's already a bunch, but yeah.
But like. I complain
countries. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I used to, we met while I was doing a student exchange program, so in Italy, and so was she. And then the next year I was working as a teacher in high school, as a math teacher in high school, and every second or every third weekend, I would take the bus to go to her place, and it's like 12 to 14 hours by bus, and 12 to 14 hours back.
And how often did you do this?
Between every second or every fourth weekend, to be more accurate.
That's still a lot. That's like once a month. At least
really,
once a month.
No,
really
at least, yeah.
You really have put in some effort into love, man.
Yeah, but it...
But it doesn't mean you can't do it again with someone who's worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
deserve it.
Yeah.
Someone is out there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But when we split up, I felt like I'm sorry, like I'm taking the subject away from.
No, go for it,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, sorry. Like I
Talking.
felt like I invested so much in. I
Oh, yeah.
invested so much into the relationship, like so much time, so much money, so much everything. Like I ended up with nothing,
Yeah.
Think
and
about this.
yeah,
Say. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Go,
and
go, go.
and like my partner did not have to make as many sacrifices as I
Yeah.
did. So I felt like I ended up being resentful a little bit, and I didn't like feeling resentful because it was my choice. It was my choice to try to make it work, and I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to try. But yeah,
Yeah. And I think that, as I was going to say, we, at least I did, experienced a lot of that in my life, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the way I learned that you gotta wait. You gotta wait to make, like, for the person who deserves the best,
yeah,
not the ones we think deserve.
Mm.
yeah,
That's the way. That's the way I think.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
What about you, Skeleton? Experiential education. Education. Intimacy.
Experiment.
Did you ever do things like traveling or go to a concert?
Well, I never traveled out of the country with someone. I traveled in my country a lot with my ex girlfriend, and I think the most experiencing and best thing that ever happened to me with a partner was going to the concert and experiencing the music together.
Mm.
Like, I was around festivals in Portugal, like,
Yeah.
all around the country in those times, and that those were the best experiencing that I could had with
Yeah.
someone, without mobiles, without anything, because we didn't get the
Oh.
network there. We didn't, like, everything was around music, sometimes drinking, sometimes other things, and, like, the most important thing, which was being there with her. So, like,
Present in that
yeah, like
moment.
that. So imagine the festival was about 4 days, but you could have gone the 10 days, just to camp there and to be there.
Yeah.
That's what we did since the day one we went there. Like, we're getting rides from everyone. We didn't have any car.
Wow, so it's like a
Going to the
community,
village.
kind of like a little
No, no, no.
community.
We had the car. We had a car, and we were providing
Oh,
the rides for the
Ah.
people. Yeah.
wow. New friends that you were making.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the times, like, you look at someone you think you can trust or not. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
there were, like, some people who were stopping by the camp, which we were, and then, like, we made some friends as well, and yeah, it creates, of course, a little community. We started as two. We ended up, like, being 70 or 80 around the camp, surrounding everything, the fences and all that. Yeah. I love the festival life.
Yeah.
Camping, now I can't, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of kids
Oh.
nowadays, and I don't have, like, the same mindset as I did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those times were good. But I still love to camp
Yeah.
anywhere. But yeah, that was good. Even the concerts and the music. Like, I heard the first time that Snoop Dogg came here. I was like, and even Kanye West.
That's an
When he
experience.
performed, All of the Lights.
Oh, all
Mm.
the lights, all,
All of
the
the
lights.
lights, all of
Yeah.
the Like, those were the best
Oof,
times. The
that
best times.
sounds fun.
That was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Some memories, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop Lion, imagine. Snoop Lion.
Yeah.
Snoop Lion.
Like your festivals in Portugal are awesome. I've been to one, and I heard it wasn't even like the number one. It was still my best festival experience in my whole life.
It's very good.
Yeah, yeah,
The mood and the people there, like, I like reggae, okay?
Hell
I love
yeah.
reggae. I've been there's a festival called Sumal Summer Fest, okay? But nowadays it's not about reggae. The
Mm.
first ones were about reggae, and I
Mm.
heard Natty Roots, I heard Dub Incorporation, I heard Alba Rosie, I heard Soja, I heard Gentleman. I
Yeah.
like
Damn, that sounds fun.
it's a I enjoy most of the types of music, and in festivals that's what I did. I
Yeah.
even heard Eddie Vedder playing in front of me in the beach. So yeah, whenever he
Damn.
came to Portugal to go to Superboc.
So both of you have traveled with your partners in the past. Is it true what people say that you learn a lot about your partner or your relationship when you travel together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? What did you guys learn?
Well, most
Mm.
of the times I could learn that I cannot live with this person, and
Okay,
that
that's
happened.
fair.
That happened because that told me a lot about people.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we go on vacation, we have to sleep together, to wake up,
Yes.
get our main routine, but with the other person right next.
Yes.
So I was like, there was some type of things that like,
You just couldn't deal
mm,
with. Yeah.
yeah, nah, another day, not now, but like never, and that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. I believe that every day. How about you, Muffin?
How they react when they're out of their comfort zone, which
Ooh.
wasn't always good, always bad,
Yeah.
and the fact that they're always ready to do something, like which was very good, always open
Open-minded.
to
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're like
Ooh, I like
I
that.
can also be like very random in what I decide to do when I'm traveling. Like, just go a whole day and be like, I have zero plan. I don't care. I'm going for a walk. If I see something cool, I'm going to do it. And in this case, that person was more focused and had more idea about what they wanted to do, and
Mm-hmm.
it was cool. Yeah.
I like that you guys learned that about each other. I think that's very important too because I haven't really like traveled with with a partner before.
Mhm.
So I don't know. To be honest, I haven't even really traveled like on my own. The most I did was to San Diego for TwitchCon, but
Yeah.
like I don't know what kind of traveler I am. Am I a scheduled traveler? Am I a random traveler? Do I like exploring? I don't know that about myself, and I have no
Yeah.
shame in saying that. So I would love to have that opportunity to learn that about myself and then see what kind of partner would I like? Like, do I want them to be pulling me to do things, or do I want them to chill? Like, do I need a chill person? Do I need someone adaptable to just be like, what do you want to do? Or do I want someone to be the planner? Right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know how I am with traveling. I really
I
don't.
can tell you that one of the best trips I had was one we scheduled at one afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
At night we were getting out of it, like just like that. Those are the best ones.
Oh, I kind of like that.
And going like I got out of my city with the car. There was a Ford Fiesta from 1990. Yeah, one was a tank. I can tell you
It
it was
was
a
a
tank.
tank.
So the moment I got out of the city, the lights went out. So imagine, here in Portugal, the left road is the fastest one, and I was on the fastest one. And then the lights go out. It's night,
Oh.
dark. Okay.
Oh
Then I
man.
go, then I go to the right, and I was like, okay, so the trip is going down. I don't know how it's gonna be done.
Yeah.
And then the guy arrived, the support. He went to my car, popped the hood, and then I was like, connected something, and the car started again. And then we continued our trip.
Yeah.
We just went, and then we ended up in Porto. We got out from Lisbon, and we ended up in Porto. That's 300 kilometers. And yeah, those were the best days.
Do you
Like
like
there was
driving?
nothing planned. Yeah, I love driving.
Okay.
Yeah, and only the manual. Don't get me automatic.
Hey.
It's annoying. Jesus
You
Christ.
speak in my language. I would love to learn
Uh,
how to drive manual. But yeah, I
I
think I
love.
would want to be with a partner who enjoys driving. Like I enjoy driving, but I'm not a fan of long drives, I can provide the entertainment and the company. Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
As long as the person beside me is, like, totally cool with driving, doesn't get cranky, no road rage, because that gives me anxiety. Like, I just need a
Yeah.
chill person, like, super chill, like, going with the flow, doing their thing. So that's really cool that you guys got to travel with your partners and
only-
share that. So that's cool.
You only get a road rage until you get someone crazier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I never road rage. I was like, okay, you just don't hit me. Don't
Yeah,
follow
it's
the
not that
line,
hard.
like,
Just don't hit me.
just don't hit my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Raven, like I actually wasn't able to travel for a long time in my life because I couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Italy, and I was like, oh, it's time.
It's
And, like,
time.
in 6 months, I visited twice as many countries that I did before. Like it was so cool. Like if you have the occasion to do it, if you have the chance to travel, do it.
I would love
Like,
to one day. I haven't really
It's
ever
so
taken
cool.
a vacation. Like, today's actually my day off from work, and I tend to just take like groups of days off, like a day here, 3 days here, 2 days here. I've never really been able to take like 2 weeks off from work. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe in the future, I would love to. And I think it's a great learning experience, because when you're on your own, you literally have to navigate the country. You learn so much about yourself, I'm sure, and how you deal with situations where there's a language barrier. Like, do you get angry? Do you get emotional? Do you get stressed out? Or are you just like, I'll figure this out? Are you resourceful? Like, do you figure it? You know, it's cool. I'm excited for that opportunity. Hopefully soon. So last but not least, physical. Contrary to popular belief, physical is not the same as sexual. Sexual is not on here because sexual is really straightforward.
Yeah.
Right? It's really straightforward. But physical is different. And this is one thing that I think is kind of up there for me. Maybe number 3. Oof, I don't know. It's tough. I just know it's important to me. How about I leave it at that? So physical, the thing that is different about physical touch and physical intimacy is that it's those gestures that you do for your partner that kind of is like a point. The way I look at it, it's like a point of reconnecting. So if they're gaming, for example, and you just come behind them and you touch their neck, or you give them a kiss on their cheek, or you rub their back, it's not like you having to be present there, but it's more like, hey, it's like a, hey, I'm still here. Or like it's with your touch, you're conveying to them like, I'm still here, I'm still thinking about you. Just because we haven't connected and we're not right beside each other doesn't mean I've forgotten about you. Like, I'm still present, I'm here with you. Or they're washing dishes and you pass by them and you just like rub their lower back. Or you touch their shoulder, you squeeze it. I realized this about myself. I do that a lot with people, and I didn't realize that I do that. But if I feel connected to someone, or I touch a lot. I go for like the shoulder, like here, if I'm passing by, I'll just like touch here, or the shoulder, or like any kind of intimate gesture. Like, I love doing it. Or if they're driving, I'll just like play with their hair, or like I'll just like rub their arm, or I'll like, this is so weird, but I love this spot right here. It's such a soft and like vulnerable spot that I kind of just like just doing a little peck, like when they're driving, just a little nibble. And I think that's what physical intimacy is. It's more just like we're disconnected, but like I'm connected with you. Like, I'm here, I'm right here beside you.
Yeah.
And I think that's severely lacking, because automatically people are just like, oh, it just gotta sex. It's just sex. But what about those cute little moments when you're watching a TV show and you just look up at that person and give them a quick kiss, or you just give them a quick squeeze, or like rub their belly or something? I think those are really special moments. Have you guys ever experienced that, or is that important to you at all?
Yeah. To be honest, it is. Like most of the times, the touches like you were talking about, to make us feel that it's constantly there.
Yes.
Like I know what you're saying, and regarding the feeling is that if you didn't felt it already, Like you gotta feel it because I can't explain it. Like
Yeah.
I love the touch part. Okay, I
Love
love the
it.
kisses. I
Yes.
love the snuggles. I love that,
Yes.
of course. But that is regarding being intimate with.
Yeah. And contrary to popular belief, people are always thinking that men want sexual intimacy. Like that's all they're focused on. But what's interesting is if you guys remember, if you were here for the yes, reassuring in a way. Yes, exactly, pseudonym. If anyone was here for my talk about infidelity, I was talking about statistics where one of the main reasons that men cheat is because they don't feel validated in their relationship and they don't feel like they're given the attention. And guess what? That was close to the same as women. They felt like they weren't being listened to. They weren't feeling like, so there you go, emotional and the physical,
The physical.
the physical, which is I'm
Yes.
here. It's reassuring. It's that touch of showing love and connection without it being sexual. And sometimes it's so much more powerful than sexual. Like I remember being in a relationship where there was the other sort of like traces of the other kinds of intimacy, but there was absolutely no physical intimacy. There were no sweet touches, no sweet forms of reassurance, and I felt so sad. I was so sad. So sad without it.
Why do you think there was no physical intimacy?
I think he just didn't love me. I think he said he loved me. I don't think he loved me.
But
I think you can't have physical intimacy with someone without loving them. That's my personal opinion and my personal experience. I find it... that's a lie. I retract that statement. You can. You just have to have deep a connection with them, and you have to genuinely care about them. And I don't think this person genuinely cared for me. That I can say. He did not genuinely care for me. He didn't make time for me. He would always, and this is a side note, but this is so true, guys. For anyone who's in a relationship or seeking a relationship or in that weird part of the relationship where you don't know if you're in a relationship or not, if you have someone in your life that is like, oh, I just wish I had the opportunity to like show you what I could do for you. If someone gives you that line, you better run for the hills, because no one needs the perfect setting to show, to treat you well. Trust me, like they don't need everything to be the stars to align to treat you well and show you that they're an amazing partner. They can be an amazing partner. This guy was always saying things like that. Oh, if I just had enough time, if I just had the time and like the ability, I just want to show you what I can do for you, like how well I can treat you. But meanwhile, every time he has the time to do things for me, he would cancel on me. I would have to bend over backwards for me to make time to fit his schedule, which would be an hour here once a week, an hour there once a week. That's not how you treat someone who you genuinely care about. So words are one thing, actions are definitely something else.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it was lacking physical intimacy, and he wasn't that kind of person, and he didn't care to adapt to me. So I think that's what it was. But yeah, the physical intimacy is special. So you guys have experienced it, or it's special to you? Or both? Okay.
Both. Yeah. So wait. You said, okay, I have experienced it, and it's very
yeah. Okay, so that's good. No, that's good. And
Okay.
so, did you always know that it was important to you, or was it only after you experienced it and you were like, "Hey, I like this. I think this is important to me."
No, like it's not always been a thing for me. Like, I think I started to accept physical intimacy when I was around 18, basically, and through a friend at first, like who nowadays is still my best friend.
Yeah.
And like she would come and hug me and stuff, and at first I was like, I'm not a touchy person.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, yeah, I like
I love
hugs.
hugs.
Hugs are cool. and and yeah, I'm very grateful to her for that, by the way. And but even with some, like, I'll say it, and I know it will sound weird with like to some people, even to my friends, like, there are gestures that for me are precious and that I could not do in the last year, basically, like hugging them and showing them that I'm there for them, or like they're my friends. There's zero tension or anything, but those physical gestures still mean a lot for me. And in a relationship, it's even more important. Like, it allows you to show so many things. Like, you're there to protect them. You're
Yes.
just there. How much you love them. Like, you can show your warmth.
Yes.
You can show how precious they are to you. Like, it's yeah. And there are so many different ways to show. Like, it's easy, it's beautiful, it's pleasant, and it's so varied. Like, you like spooning, you spoon. You like snuggling, you snuggle. You like kissing, you kiss. You like touching, caressing. Like, it's so great.
And why it's so rare, I don't understand. I feel like society has really minimalized physical intimacy to mean sexual intimacy, and that's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because people are missing out on so much. People are missing out on so much.
I think that one of the main reasons in here, it's also the information that mostly everyone right now is getting from the internet. Don't know something, you Google it. Okay, so most of the times, when at least me, when I had questions, I went to my father, my mother, and they would give me their perspective of life, and that's what education is like. And right now, most of the kids and the people which are growing up right now, they're getting the information on the internet, even about feelings. So if you can't describe something, you're gonna get that information online.
Interesting.
You're gonna get that, okay, so this is what I feel whenever this happens. Okay, so now I know. And the people get that into their minds and they start thinking and feeling like that. So, like, there's too many things in here as well for that. Most of the people are like, and when I say the interest regarding being common, we had.
Oh wait, you're cutting a little bit. Interest in
regarding the conversation we had on the. Now I lost it.
Oh shoot.
I was getting sense. Never mind.
No.
But yeah.
Sorry, it was cutting, and I didn't want to miss more of your.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's gonna come back. I know it's gonna come back.
Like,
Yeah. What I wanted to also say in building onto Skeleton's point is that also the way that society treats and views men also is another problem, because you're not really taught to be physically intimate. You're not really taught to need physical intimacy, even though it is a basic human desire. Because usually the first question is like, did you guys fuck? Did you guys like do it? Did you guys, how was this? How was that? But there's like no, and then if you mention this whole cuddling and this, that's why there's all these memes of like the tough guys, but they love cuddling, because it's seen as something abnormal or like strange. But it's so human. It's so human to want these things. And it doesn't help when you're told to feel otherwise, and then therefore you don't develop it. I always say this, and I talk about toxic masculinity a lot, and just the way masculinity is formed in our society. How are men supposed to develop things that they should be expected to know, and then therefore punished for them when they don't know it? So you want your man to be caring, and you want him to be knowing how to deal with you when you're emotional, and you want him to be sweet and caring and like empathetic and sensitive. But then they're not taught that, because when they cry, they're told to hold it inside because that's not a man. Or when they tell their friends, like they cry in front of their friends are like, yo, stop being such a pussy. So like there's so much misalignment with their things that are expected of men and the way they're treated and they're taught. and how much knowledge and information is given to them to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Regarding the education as well, right? Your parents are gonna teach you that as well
Yeah.
most of the time, and the environment around you,
Yeah.
the families around you, all of that is gonna affect your mindset, as it seems.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go back really quick. I remembered Muffin said something really important about the resentment, where he spent a lot of money traveling to meet his girl, and it led to a little bit of resentment because he felt like he had invested so much in this relationship. And I forgot to say that I really like what you mentioned, the talk that you had with yourself when you said, it was my choice though, so I have no right to resent her and be resentful of the relationship because it was my choice. And I love that you mentioned that, because there's so many people who make choices to stay in relationships or do things in relationships, and then they blame the other person, but you're a grown ass adult. You made the choice, right? So be accountable and hold yourself accountable for your choices and move forward. Be like, I messed up, I'm not gonna do that again, move forward. If that's how you feel about it. And also something to note is sometimes we do see red flags early on in our relationship, but we just want to be happy. So we just don't act on those.
definitely.
I think we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yes.
But in terms of sexual intimacy, and leading to our other question, where I want to talk about what we've learned about intimacy, I want to share with you guys a little graph. I haven't named it yet, but this is what I've learned about sexual intimacy. So let me go to it. Can you guys see this yet? Hopefully. Oh no, you can't see it. Can you see it?
Where?
Wait.
So I'm
On
guessing
stream?
it's not showing on stream.
I'm waiting. Like,
Wow.
there's a slight delay.
It's probably
Yeah, I
not.
see it now.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I don't have it.
Does it say ACBD? Or what does it say? My phone is buffering, so I can't even see it.
Right now we are seeing a big full sky with a lot of stars.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
there's no graph.
I promise it's supposed to be here. Give me a second. We're having a little bit of tech issues.
No stress, no stress.
I'm trying to get this in quickly so that Skeleton can get some sleep.
Okay. In the meantime, Skeleton, like, first thing
Yes.
that comes to your mind, favorite type of physical intimacy.
Ooh. I love this question. I love it.
So, can you ask again, please?
Favorite type of physical intimacy, or way to be physically intimate.
Hugging.
Really? Ooh, interesting. Hugs are powerful, let me tell you.
Yeah.
My previous partner, I loved his hugs, because the first time I would see him, and I would give him a hug, it was exactly like what I was describing with the wings. I would literally just hug him, and like my head would be in his chest, and it would just, everything would melt away. So hugs is a good one. Hugs are so underrated.
True.
Yeah,
Hugs are so
I agree.
underrated.
I agree.
Is
One
hugs
thing-
for you too?
Like, for me, no. For me, it's like, I'm gonna say it's like, I don't know if that's how you say, like, cuddling or snuggling.
Oh, cuddling.
Like,
is a good
it's like a hug, except you're laying down.
Yeah.
So it's and like,
I think
Yes.
everyone sleeps better when that happens most
Yes.
of the time. But there are
Yeah.
people which don't like
Yes, that's true too.
close to someone. They prefer to be alone.
Because they
in
get
bed.
too hot or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard people say that too. Jeremy says, I'm very much into physical intimacy, friends or lovers. So if we ever meet, expect a big hug. Yeah. I love hugs. I'm okay with that. Oh, but one thing to quickly put out there, nowadays, we have learned to become more conscious about people's boundaries and things like that. So always good to ask. That's when I was at
Yeah, of
TwitchCon, I
course.
always asked, because you never know. I never knew this was a thing, guys, but what I recently learned, or a while back when I started implementing this in my life, is that people that have had trauma in their past, especially sexual assault related or abuse related, they do not like touch. They do not
Yeah.
respond well to that. So you don't want to be in a situation where you make them feel uncomfortable or you force them to take a hug and then send them into a downward spiral. Better just to ask. So I just wanted to put that out there because, we keep it real up in here.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Also, welcome, pseudonym. I saw you. And I liked your comment about the reassuring bit. Thank you very much. 100% hugger. Yes, you are, Jeremy. I have yet to meet you, but I'm very, very much looking forward to it. So something I learned about sexual intimacy is I always had this very incorrect misconception, and you can blame society for that, is guys always want sex all the time. All the time. But what I realized from talking to my guy friends and from personal experience is that, guess what? Even guys are human. They are different too. Just like there are some girls who are horny all the time, there are some guys who are horny all the time. But there are also some guys who are not that crazy thrilled about sex. Just like there's some girls who are not that crazy thrilled about sex. And it's okay. That was news for me because society and movies shoves that down your throat that all guys want is sex, right? Yeah. So that's why the first time I met someone who's not crazy about it, I was like, am I ugly? Oh my God. I guess I'm ugly.
That's the first thought that someone has.
Yes.
If you don't push, not pushing is to not willing to have sex.
Yes.
Like the other guys that she had.
Yeah.
And they think like, am I not pretty enough?
Yes.
Am I not hot enough?
100%.
I'm not attractive? Like, no, I'm just not in the mood. Okay?
Yes. Exactly. And it was so shocking to me because it had I'd never heard of this before because people don't talk about it, right? So you're hearing it here first. We keep it real. There are men out there who don't have as high sex drive as in comparison to some girls, for example, and vice versa. So there's this negative stereotype about girls who are just like, oh my God, girls don't like sex. Girls don't like sex. Guess what? Like out of like a few of my close friends, all of them are crazy about it. So I'm like, I don't know where their stereotype is, but they don't fit it. Just like there's some guys who don't fit it. And that's so important. So important to know, guys, because if you're going into a relationship thinking about that stereotype and expecting and hoping for that stereotype, you might get disappointed. So what I've realized, and then what I used to think is a lot of sex means they also have like super passionate and sensual and intimate sex. But that's not the case, guys. They are two different spectrums. So I have concocted this little graph. So this is how to read it, okay? And this is how you figure out what you are. You're one of the purples most of the time, and you're one of the blues most of the time. So you're a combination, okay? So for example, me, I will say I'm an AD. So sex is most passionate, intimate, more attention given to pleasing the partner, recognizing the partner's desires. And I'm a BD. Sex is desired often, multiple rounds to be satisfied. And what that means basically is, what I mean by sex is more passionate, I'm not saying AC is not passionate. I'm just saying AD, the focus usually of the sex is to be passionate, is to be sensual, intimate, which means there's a lot of foreplay, or a lot of foreplay is it is of interest to me, and pleasing the other partner is important to me, and learning how to please the other partner is important to me. So I want to talk about it. What do you like? What are your turn-ons? Like, are you freaky? Are you not? Like, are you okay if I'm freaky? Like, I want to talk about it. I want to get to know it, and I want to cater myself to you in whatever way that I can. And in terms of the second bit, I do have a high sex drive. I'm horny quite often, and multiple rounds to be satisfied. By that, I mean that I'm not a one and done type of person. I enjoy multiple rounds. And then I'm met with the argument, what if your guy can't stay hard for multiple rounds? I understand that. That's a physical limitation, and I totally am empathetic to that. But if my partner is not willing to satisfy me in other ways, not because it's a chore, I want him to want to. I want it to turn him on, pleasing me. That's the partner for me. So, based on this chart, guys, what do you think that you guys usually are?
I think I'm pretty much the same as you.
Okay. So,
Okay, so
more focused on
ADD.
passionate. Okay. And in comparison, by the way, for those of you who are interested, AC is someone who's more focused on the end result. So those are people who, yes, there's a little bit of foreplay, but the most of the focus is like, I just want to come, and I just want to make her, hopefully, I just want to make her come too. Or like your partner. But it could also be those people who are very one-sided, and it's like, I just want to come, and I really don't care about my partner. There's not much attention given to the deeper understanding of the partner's desires. So you're just cool with like satisfying them in whatever, limited capacity. But there's no like deeper conversation of like, wait, so has anyone ever made you come in this way? Or like, I want to try this with you. What do you think about this? Like, I want to like really try to please you in this way. There's not much focus on that. It's more like, I'm horny, you're attractive, I want to get it on, let's do it, and like now I'm good. And it's not desired very often in the sense of like, yeah, it's cool if it happens, yeah, I'm horny here or there, but like not really all the time. It's not really a necessity every other day or something, or every few days. I'm good with maybe like once a week, maybe less. I'm okay with that. And I'm good with like one round. I'm satisfied, like I'm good. So for anyone in chat that did want to participate, that's sort of how you read the graph. And this is, of course, not like completely black and white. We vary sometimes between these, but most of the time, we're a combination of those two.
I'll add one thing. Like for me, sexual intimacy is something I share with my partner. Like at least that's how I've been like functioning until now. Maybe I'll change my way to think about it in the future. But for now, it's only something I've shared with partners.
Yeah.
People that I'm in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
So when I don't have a partner, even if the most attractive person like comes to me, I'm not gonna have sex with them. So I wanted to complete my answer by saying this. Like,
so you feel like the desires are still there, but you just won't act on them, or
it's a different like your body wants sex, but you don't want this person. Like it's not the same want. When you have someone that you really into and you're with, and your body wants sex, like
yes,
go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to be honest, to me, it would be also AD and BD. To be honest. But I'm that type of person which once I found someone, I'm gonna stick with that person. Even I don't have to be her boyfriend, okay? But I'm gonna stick with that person most of the times. That's gonna happen a lot. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say regarding this. I'm horny all the time, of course.
Yeah.
But
Wait.
I'm not like those guys which I'm pulling it all out here, you know. I'm not those type of guys which I see a girl on the street and then damn hot, man.
I fucking hate
Nothing
that.
like that.
I hate that.
Nothing
I can't.
nothing like that. And the thing is, I try to not look to objectify it. You know what I mean? Because most of the times we are getting attacked only by the chance that she's assuming it. So like I'm not even trying to give them the opportunity of, okay? So, and this is how we getting right now, in my view, to be honest.
What were you saying about if you find someone, you kind of stick with them, even if you're not their boyfriend? Do you mean you sexually stick with them, or do you just mean like even if you're not sharing a sexual connection, because you have the other forms of intimacy and you're like, I kind of know this person is the one for me, and like I'm content with them, you stick around with them? I just wanted to clarify what you
I
meant
think
by
that
that.
both of them are good to me because most of the times when I am with someone, even if we're not dating or with a boyfriend and girlfriend and all that, then we just mess around sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stick with it, I create a friendship as well, of course.
Yeah.
So like if something happens after it, well, that's good,
Yeah.
to be honest, because it's working in some way, and if it's working in the other ways, might as well just get it a chance.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned that you stick with it, because there are some people that don't want to stick with it, and that's fine if you want to live your life like that. But as I said in my previous Real Talk with the power of words, communicate that to your partner, because you do
Yeah.
not want them committed to you as a one-on-one friends with benefits or sex buddy or whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're going around doing everything else. So
Yeah,
it's just not nice. Don't do that, right?
just messing around with the head and giving hope where it
Yes.
doesn't exist most of the time. So
Yeah.
if you wanna have a good time, okay, there are ways to say it. There are ways to do it. You don't need to do it whenever you meet someone. So you meet someone, start meeting someone, and then the conversation leads to flirting leads to other things. And then like no, right now regarding these platforms and social media,
Oh,
which
you're
people
cutting.
which people can send message each other like so easily regarding these things, and they already sending nudes and all of that. We are seeing that a lot, to be honest, even with this COVID thing. Some friends of mine are saying like I'm receiving nude pics in the start of a conversation.
Oh my
People are
god.
getting like this. So like that's what I'm saying, there are ways and do it and to give it out there, you know, to express yourself, like
Yeah.
I don't have other words,
So
Yeah.
but like the way they are expressing is not a good way, to be honest.
So do you think that if you're sending nudes to multiple people, then you should make it clear that this is not like a serious thing that you're having with that person, so they know that it's not exclusive, whatever you're doing with this person?
Well, I don't know how to respond to that because whenever I send nudes just to one person, for example, me only, if I have, and this is an important thing. I will not send any nudes to someone I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna make with my photos. Okay, so if I'm sending nudes to someone, it gotta be someone I met in real life, and I'm knowing and trying to get something more out of it. I don't randomly pick. I think that's not how it's done. I think, is it
What's
Like
done?
sending nudes
I
like
just draw a lottery.
randomly, like just like there you go. Man.
Someone's gonna be interested, right?
Well, I don't know. Most of the times they make fun of it. Okay, so look at the size of
Oh,
this.
well, see, contrary to popular belief, also, guys also worry about sending nudes and like what will happen to my picture, what will she do with it, or what will he do with it. So I know there's this there's belief that like guys don't care. It's only girls who are worried about like their nudes spreading. Guys worry about that too,
Yeah.
because guess what? They're human. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes so much sense to be worried about it. Like,
Yes. Unless you're just those carefree people that are like, they send it around, who cares? Also, since we're talking about nudes, what do you guys think about, this is so weird, I've never done this, sharing your partner's nudes with
no,
your friends?
No.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I don't want to show to my friends what I have at my house. Okay, one thing is showing my car. another thing is showing the girl I'm with. That doesn't make any sense to me. To be
Okay,
honest.
what if you guys are just friends with benefits?
Why? Why would you show? Like, do you want to prove something to yourself? Like, do you want to?
I think
to
that's
gain
what it is.
Status.
I think that's
like,
what it is.
Yeah, I think it's for status. Like,
Most of the time,
yeah, come on.
most of the time is for the ego with the friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares? If you have real friends, you don't need that.
Yeah, I agree.
If you have real friends, they will tell you like no one cares, dude.
Yeah.
Or
Can
they'll
complain.
or what I have heard one of my guy friends say, because like they were doing it right beside me, like two of my friends, and they were just like, dude, does she know you're showing this to me? And that shut him up real quick. And I was like, you tell him. That's so disrespectful. It's different showing them a profile picture, like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
this is the girl I'm like kind of doing stuff with, whatever. And it's different showing an intimate picture that she sent for your eyes, or he sent. Bro, I was working with this girl, and I was so naive. Like I don't even know. I think it's because like I didn't want to be talking to her, so I wasn't really listening to her, because she was making me feel really uncomfortable. And this is before I grew the guts to tell people that you're making me very uncomfortable and please stop. So I was just going on with it. This girl shows me a picture of this guy's dick that she's dealing with. And for a second, I didn't even know what I was looking at. So I did a double take, and then I was like, why would she show that to me? Like, I was actually, I don't understand. Like, are you flexing? Do you want that validation that it's a good one? Keep going? Or why? I've never done that. I've never done that ever in my life. And I don't think I would ever would. I think I would just show their profile picture, or like a picture of us together, like a cute one, like, oh, look at us doing look cute together. But even that, actually, I'm a pretty secretive person. I don't like, I've never posted a couple thing on Instagram. I don't talk like, I'll talk about my partner here or there if I'm in a relationship, but that's a treasure, and I'm protecting my treasure. I am not getting evil eyes on me. I'm not getting envious eyes on me. I don't want any of that garbage. It's our circle, our little bubble, and we're not allowed in it.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
like, I want to be protected. Like, I don't want you to go around telling your friends like, oh, then she did this, and then did this, and then we did this together, and then she was on top of me like this. Oh, she tried this new thing on me. Oh my god. Like, that's very private. Like, I don't know why you're telling people that.
That's very intimate.
Like there are reasons to talk about it if you want, like, if you're worried about something.
Yes.
If
Okay,
you're
but those are certain rare.
Yeah.
You gotta ask for opinion or
Yeah.
on what to do, what should I do, like some certain stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the reason this chart, I feel like, is so important. Yeah, it's a no. It's going to be a no. The reason this chart is so important is that I didn't realize that this was even a thing. So when I devised this chart, I was like, okay, so now I know that I need someone who is also ADBD. Because there's some people who are ADBD and they're like, I'm okay with ACBD, for example. Or sorry, ACBD, right? They're okay with someone who wants a lot of sex, but the sex is very straightforward. Because at least they're getting their fill of, like, a lot of sex. But then your passionate side is not being satisfied. So if you're okay with that, great. But you need to know what you're okay with, because that one of the main reason, one of the other reasons that relationships kind of fall apart is because there's a lack of that match of sexual intimacy, which is very important as well in relationships.
Yeah.
So know what you are and communicate that to your partner, which brings me to the last point. What are some tips that people can kind of take away from this conversation of how to improve yes, please go ahead.
Just before, I like
Please.
because we're breaking myth and stuff. Like, a guy doesn't need, like, I said I'm ADBD, but a guy doesn't necessarily need to finish to have a good time.
Yes.
Like, you like,
I
you can
agree
have
with
the
you.
best time
Yeah.
of your life and not finish, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I know that's something that worries the other
brings
person a lot. Like, Oh, you didn't have a good time. You didn't.
Yeah.
No.
That
No.
that
No.
that brings me to a point that we guys most of the times we like to finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is nothing
But
wrong with that. Just putting that out there.
That's one of the best things.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing, which it is more fire, is the act itself. Thing it, which is exciting, really. It's the act
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all the things you like on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you don't have always. Like I was about to say before, I'm the type of guy which prefers first to let the girl finish and
Yeah.
then I finish after it.
That's kind of like an unspoken rule with me. Like I if a guy doesn't do that, I'm just like, bro, you don't have your game right. Cause like I think that's very attractive when a guy's just like focused on, I'm a giver, so I need a giver.
Yeah.
There are some people who are givers, but they are okay with the taker.
Yeah.
Nope. There was someone who would keep a tally. It was like, I did one time, you did one time. I did one time, you did one time. And then I was like, yeah, but I want more. I hate having to express that I want more, because you should clearly know that like I want more, right? Especially because my actions are clearly like
Okay.
okay.
Okay, fair.
Right? So, and he knows me. Like, we talk about this often, right? And it was, he was like, oh, but like, I did one time, you did one time, and then you did one time, I did one time. I'm like, are you keeping a score? What is happening right now? It was so unattractive. It was very unattractive. It was a 2-2 situation. And I definitely also, that experience taught me that I definitely need someone who derives pleasure from giving. Because if they are not excited about giving to me, and it's not something like that they just do on a whim, even like it's not even about ending up in sex. Even if it's a situation where we're just chilling like at a movie theater or something, or we're chilling somewhere, or we're just playing games or something, and they work on me, for example, and they don't get anything in return, they're good because they just like they enjoy pleasing me. I think that's the kind of partner that I'm looking for. Definitely someone who is more like not about keeping score, not about like, well, now what about me? And they should know that I'm the type of person that would most likely already return, but that shouldn't be the reason that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I think it, like we said it before, don't hesitate to ask. Like,
Wait, say that again?
don't hesitate to ask, like, if your partner does something for you, like, don't hesitate to say, do you also want something from me? Like, yeah. Or like,
Oh, you're saying it's okay to ask them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they just
Don't
make
know.
you finish for you, and they're fine with not doing. They would rather cuddle or hug or stuff like this.
But if you're unsure, better to ask. Like, there's no harm in asking.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Don't feel obligated to return the favor, but you can ask.
Yeah.
Like,
That to some people can cut up the mood.
True.
ah,
Very true.
You know?
fair.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
slightly tricky, but you can always ask them. Say like the next
There
day
are
or
ways,
something.
yeah.
You can always ask them like, listen, last night I kind of felt like I wanted to, but I wasn't sure. Like, what do you want me to do in those situations? I feel like maybe not in that moment. Sometimes you can always
Yeah.
address it later.
Okay.
And right, like that's something that works for certain couples. Just find out what works
Yeah.
for you. I think that's a really good piece of advice. What you said, Muffin. It's like, it's just ask. It's the same type. Sorry, go ahead.
You don't have to ask in a scared way. Like, ask in a cool, flirty way.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. And I also want to say that especially women, we're like told not to like sex and not to enjoy sex. So if you do enjoy it, and you do want to be pleased, there's no harm in communicating that to your partner. But by that same token, your partner has to want to be educated about how to please you. And I think one of the biggest red flags, in my opinion, in a casual relationship or any kind of relationship is if that person is just taking, and has no interest in giving back. Like no interest. They'll probably hit you up with the, do you wanna? Are you?
Yeah.
Do you want me to touch you? And then you obviously, most girls will say, no, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure you're good. And then he'll be like, okay. And then like I've talked to friends where they're just like 3 times for the guy and nothing for the girl. And it's also because a lot of girls have difficulty finishing. And for some people, it's because they just haven't found what works for them or what position works for them or what they need for it to happen. And you need a partner who is willing to go on that journey with you and genuinely wants to find a way. Because most girls will shy away from that and say, no, it's okay. You know, like we've tried. It's not going to happen. There's no point. Just don't do it. And I think what's so attractive is when a man says, no, I want to do this. Like, we're going to make this happen. And, like, I'm going to work with you in whatever way I need to. I want to. Like, I really want to. I think that's so hot for me. Because that eases your partner into not thinking they're a burden. Because I think a lot of girls start to think that they're burdens. Some guys are insecure about their partner using sex toys to climax. Ooh, that's a great one. But I also, which is so true, and that's what I want to add on to that. I think it's a great tool for guys who might not be able to go for multiple rounds, and stay hard. It's actually a great tool to use sex toys. I don't have much experience with them, but it seems like they do the trick well, and it's actually a supplemental thing to the partnership. So I know it can be a little daunting, like, wow, she's getting more pleasure from that than she is from me. But remember, she or he is using that with you. Like, you're doing it together. You're doing that to them, or they're doing that to you. So it is still a partnership experience. So don't feel afraid to communicate your desires and what you need from your partner. And a great way to gauge how healthy your relationship is if you have that emotional connection. Can you talk about this? Because this is a difficult subject to talk about. They might try something on you that you don't like, and you should feel comfortable enough to talk to them and be I didn't like that. It's not working for me. Because they might keep doing it. And you might not just keep being like, oh my God, just stop, please. I don't like it.
And
I'm sorry, Raven, I really have to go.
Absolutely. I totally understand.
I'm sorry.
Are you able to leave your camera on, but then close it with a tape, and then I can disconnect you?
I can figure something out.
That would be great, because then it won't affect the layout, and then I can just disconnect you. We're wrapping up in like 10 minutes or so. Yeah.
Okay, no, it's because I still have to feed my dog.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Skeleton.
I have to get to work.
Skeleton, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate
it's okay.
it. Thank you. It was such a pleasure getting to know you more.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It was a great time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invite also, and very nice meeting you, Muffin, and also you, Solo Raven.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate the opportunity. We're gonna get more if you invite me more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any type of discussion. So I'm gonna get something to clear it. Give me a second.
All right, sounds good. So any other tips, Muffin, before we end off?
I wanted to say
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I wanted to say, don't pretend, like you were saying, don't say when you don't like something, don't pretend. Do not ever pretend that you like something. That's the worst thing in the world. Like, what, like, guy, girl, no, like, doesn't matter. Do not do that.
I completely agree.
I
completely agree. It's not working for anybody. It really isn't.
Yeah. And I get it, like, because I've talked with people and they say, like, yeah, but I don't want to make it awkward and stuff. I get it. But what you're gonna do is push that person to do the same thing again and again, and it's not working.
Yep.
So
And you can say it in a loving manner. And you could always, if you feel like the person is a little sensitive, you can always couple it with like, I really liked this thing that you tried. Tickling not so much, but da 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 da. So it doesn't sound like you're just focused on that or the
Yeah.
you're kind of just like grouping it up because you do want to be sensitive to your partner's feelings as well, right? So yeah, I think communication is so key, and being transparent and honest about what you want, what you need. That's, I think, the healthiest relationships. That's the biggest tip that I would give. And in the video that I was watching about intimacy, she said that the more types of intimacy that you try to incorporate in your relationship, the more you'll realize that either this is not working for me, this is actually not the person for me, because you might try to incorporate this intimacy, but relationships are a two-way street. If they're resistant to that, it's not going to work out, right? Or they could totally be on board with it, and then you're going to find more things that you have in common, more things you want to talk about. You're going to want to spend more time with them, and that's just going to grow the relationship and make it more beautiful.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Any tips, Muffin? So we talked about communication. We talked about being honest and transparent.
Yeah.
We talked about trying to incorporate more of these intimacy types of intimacies in our life or in our relationships with people. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, don't be too close-minded either. Like, or judgmental. Like, you have another person in front of you. They have different experiences and things they like, and things they dislike. Be patient, learn them. They will learn you, and don't judge them for what they like and dislike. Like, if it's not for you, say it again. Be honest, but don't be like, what, tickling?
Yes.
Like,
so true.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely take away the emotional intimacy from me if I brought up an activity or something that I wanted to do with the partner, or I wanted to try sailing or something, and they hit me with the, oh my God, I don't want to do that, and they were just like totally dismissive of it. I think I would get a little bit more closed up, or like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to talk to them about new things anymore because I don't know how receptive they'll be to it.
Yeah.
There's a way, I think, to say it, right? If you're really not interested, you can just be like, I have a fear of water, I don't like sailing, or whatever the reason is, I just don't like being out on the sailboat. It just gets me sick, or whatever the case is, I just don't like it. There's a way to say it. I think the way to say it is really important, along with the content of I don't want to do it, also how you say it.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah. And I'm just going to make sure that we haven't missed anything in chat. For the audience, is there any buffering? My net has been occupied. It's getting a little is it freezing sometimes the video? Then oh, it's buffering a little bit. Shoot, I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that. But this brings us to the end of our show. I really appreciate everyone who's been here. If you give me a few minutes, I will be talking to Muffin offline to say goodbye to him and thank him for his time. So hang tight. If I see you guys after I come back, awesome. If I do not see you when I come back, take care, stay scrumptious, and Muffin, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Yeah, thank you for the lovely chat. Like, I was smiling almost during the whole evening, reading all about what you're saying.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and it was a great time. Like, I was so hyped to be here.
Oh,
and like, it was even better than I thought.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Muffin. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, chat. Have an awesome one. And yeah. Thank you, Raven. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Hi, guys. I am back. This was such a good talk. I can't deal. It was such a good time. Really amazing guests. Thank you all for your time and your patience with all of the tech issues that I was experiencing for this show. I really appreciate all your time. Thank you, Jer. It was such a great conversation. And Muffin and Skeleton, so amazing. Such amazing people. And I will be doing the song right now. You guys know what time it is, right? You guys know what time it is, right? You guys know what time it is, right? It's time for the song. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me pop it up. Let me pop it up. Let me pop it up. Here we go. It's Raven's Real Talk, episode 14, with Muffin and Skeleton. Bringing it down. Step is for Ravens. It's time with you. I've been craving. Been looking forward to this all day. Let's have a scrumptious time today. Skippy doo bop, 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 bop. Moo, moo, bop, bop, bop. Skit, scat, diddly doo, and a spooky boogie boogie boo. We did that Ravens Real Talk with Skeleton and Muffin. We talked about intimacy. How many? 5. We got physical experiential. Physical experiential. Hold on. Physical experiential, emotional and physical, and intellectual. Y'all thought I forgot about that last one, but let me tell you, it's very well done. It's a good one. I like it. It's a great one. I like it. Spiritual. Yes, sorry. Oh my god. Spiritual, emotional, intellectual, physical. Oh my god, I literally just talked about this. Hold on. Emotional, spiritual, intellectual, experiential, physical, and sexual. There we go. I'm so sorry about all the buffering issues, guys. I'm very, very sorry. Hi, Muffin. Thank you so much for that heart. I appreciate it. That's the cringiness I was talking to you about. Hi, Knobs. I hope you are well. Oh, that was so fun. That was such a good time. Raven's Real Talk is obviously... Sorry, it's always such a good time for me. I have way too much fun doing it. I am so glad that I kind of pushed that voice aside that was saying I shouldn't do it. Who's gonna watch? It's nobody it's a useless show, this and this, and I'm so glad I just did it. Let us spread this good lovin' over to a friend. We are gonna spread this good lovin' over to Pashley. She is doing some Music Monday. She was on Dare to Duet with me. So, we're going to share that lovin'. Plus ultra! I am wonderful. How are you doing? We are just getting ready to raid Princess Pashley. So, for those of you who don't know, we just had a Raven's Real Talk about intimacy. It was a good time. I had 2 scrumptious guests. Okay, Muffin Show and our Skeleton. It was a wonderful time, and I just want to say thank you once again for you both for taking time out of your busy lives to spend time with me. I really appreciate it. And for everybody in chat, everybody who will watch the VOD later, everybody who will make clips later or whatever you will do with the VOD, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support for Raven's Real Talk is like unimaginable, and it makes me so happy because this is literally something I created from the ground up, and it can't be possible without my scrumptious guests. So my guests and you guys is what really makes the show. So thank you so much. It was a great show. I had so much fun talking about intimacy. Have a great night, everybody. I couldn't see them, but I love hearing. Thank you, Knobs. I hope you all have a damn scrumptious night. Wishing your heart and your mind and your soul and your spirit and your body peace and happiness. Take care, stay scrumptious, and Raven out.